Salutations. Welcome to Pod Mortem. I'm Renee Hunter Vasquez, joined as always by my co-host, my husband, and my brother.
Hi, I'm John Paul Vasquez.
Hi, I'm Travis Hunter.
This week, we're recording live from Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital discussing the 2011 found footage horror film, Grave Encounters. This film was written and directed by the Vicious brothers, Colin Minihan and Stuart Ortiz. Intrigued by the idea of a found footage horror film centered around a paranormal reality show, the Vicious brothers set out to make one themselves. After the teaser trailer for the film went viral in 2010, it was released at the Tribeca Film Festival in 2011. It was met with mixed reception and continues to be a polarizing film, panned by some for its premise and CGI, and hailed by others as a delightful descent into madness. This film was recommended to us by friends of the show, Brittany Ramatar, Molly Gerhart, Dylan, Sydney Carr, Blaine Hancock, Jasmine, and our daughter, Ariana Vasquez. We want to thank them all for their support as well as this suggestion. So, what did you guys think of Grave Encounters the first time you saw it?
I think the first time we watched this was at your parents' house.
Yeah.
I can't remember how long ago that was, but I remember really liking the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that it was, I remember being funnier than it was, and watching it now, it's still kind of funny, but it's not
At the
as
beginning,
funny.
yeah.
The beginning is like comedy.
Yeah.
It's like a spoof almost.
Yeah, but this movie works for me a lot. I know that what would you say? This is found footage, right?
Technically, yeah.
Okay, so some found footage and like I guess spoof movies like this, or when they try to do things like this and then it's like a real movie in the background or whatever, sometimes it doesn't work. I feel like this movie works fantastic. This movie gave me the same feeling that I got or that I get when I watched the very first Hell House.
Okay.
And I like that movie a lot. That movie was great.
Yeah.
This movie does accomplish that as well. I don't know if I would say that it's better than Hell House, but I also don't know if I could say Hell House is better than this. I feel like they bring their own vibe to what's going on with like haunted house things. And I know this isn't a house, but I mean, it's still inside.
It's a haunted place.
Inside.
Well, it's not like we're in the woods being chased by something.
True.
But I really enjoyed this movie.
It's still a structure.
Yes,
Yeah.
I watched it inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which only made it scarier.
Yeah.
We're both inside. I don't remember the first time I watched this. It might have been with our parents. I think it might have even been on Netflix or something.
Okay.
But it was shortly after it actually came out. But I've made no secret that found footage is not my subgenre.
Yeah.
Right.
It takes a lot for me to enjoy a found footage film.
Mm-hmm.
I say that, but I also say that The Blair Witch Project is one of my favorite films of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do have an open mind.
Right.
And if you technically count it, there's a lot of One Cut of the Dead that is basically found footage.
Oh, I love that movie
Okay,
so
yeah.
much.
And that's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Same.
Spoiler alert if we ever cover it. But I don't know. There's something very, very good about this film. I don't know if it's the send up of the ghost hunting shows, because we watched the shit out of ghost hunting shows
All the time.
growing up. And so all these like little tropes and everything that they do, it's like so pitch perfect and in its accuracy that it is hilarious.
It is.
But the first time I watched it, I know that I really, really enjoyed it. And I love that conceit so much of the haunted house ghost hunting situation. It's kind of like a thrill ride haunted house style horror film.
Yeah.
Because it is really just taking you from thing to thing and things are happening. That's the other thing as well, is that aside from it being well made, it is just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It is that thrill. It's not really meant to be more than that. And so if you watch it as that, you're going to have a lot of fun. It does, in my mind, not only owe a lot to the Blair Witch Project.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it owes a lot to House on Haunted Hill in 1999.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But
One character in particular.
oh my god.
Multiple characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. But
You look real familiar.
I don't know. I really enjoy watching this. This is one of those films, if you were to say, hey, you want to watch Grave Encounters? I don't see any time that I would say no.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
It's a very breezy watch and it's very fun. And I will say that now I do have issues. I don't want
yeah.
anyone to think this is getting a 10 for me, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not one to miss, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you're comparing it to Hell House LLC, in my mind, because of the time it came out, I thought of it in context with Paranormal Activity.
Oh, okay.
And I enjoy this way more than I enjoy Paranormal Activity, which is weird to me because I'm usually of the mind of like, don't show me shit.
Yeah.
Let me be afraid in my ignorance.
Oh yeah,
Right,
no,
right.
and they show
you
everything.
Yeah.
It's not left for debate.
No.
I think for me, what the thing about Paranormal Activity, and I did like the movie, but it's just a couple. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then the boyfriend was, what's his name,
Oh,
Mika? Or
yeah.
what? That guy was a fucking dick.
We don't talk about
No,
Mika.
yeah. But here you have a group of people.
Yes.
And it feels like everybody has their own tiny role, even if we don't get a lot of characterization out of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they interact with each other, you kind of see how everybody, or get a feel of everybody's personality a little bit. And you mentioning paranormal or like ghost hunting shows, I can't remember what it was on Sci-Fi that I watched the fuck out of that show.
Yeah.
And it was a ghost hunting show, but I watched that fucking shit religiously.
Was it Ghost Hunters?
I don't know if I can't
'Cause
remember.
that's what we
it was
watched.
like
All the
like 3 letters they used for their names.
Oh, yeah,
and then-
Taps.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just remember the name
Yeah.
because they try to make it
A
sound.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
I do remember that. And I will say that this movie, watching it in context and how much we love Ryan Bergara and Shane Madej,
Yeah.
Yes.
BuzzFeed Unsolved and Ghost Files.
oh yeah.
This film, every single episode of theirs, it made me worry for them that this could happen.
It's like, Shane, stop.
Yeah, please don't.
No, I feel like my relationship with the found footage is like, and I'm not a person that I will say cares at all about sports, but it's what I would imagine, like having your team, but like they lose a lot. Does that make sense?
Right.
It's like I get excited for them and then I watch them and I'm like,
Oh.
next
Yeah.
time. Like we got him next time. This was, like the Super Bowl or whatever. For me,
All right.
this is really, really good.
Yeah.
And we watched it with our parents maybe just a few years ago.
Okay.
I'd never heard of this. Nothing. So the fact that it did come out over 10 years ago, is surprising to me because it's relatively new to me.
Yeah.
And imagine my surprise when I go online and see how many people fucking hate this movie.
Yeah. That's surprising.
Like,
Dude, it's polarizing.
Yeah, what? So many people. Go on
Wow.
IMDb, go to 1 star, and people are just. But a lot of those reviews that I read, people were like, I would turn it off after 35 minutes. I couldn't get past an hour. This is trash. It's like, at least finish it.
Yeah,
And then you can talk all the shit you want.
I feel like there should be like a card that prints out when you finish a movie that allows you to talk
Yes.
about it. And only then is your opinion valid.
Yeah, but no, I think that this is a lot of fun. I didn't connect it to Hell House until you said that, but
Yeah.
I really would have to agree. It's that same vibe of just, we're here for a good time.
Yeah.
We're going to tell our story. We're going to get out. And I know there's a sequel to this that I have not seen. And I know that there are more Hell Houses, but you know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
We've seen those.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say the sequels of this and Hell House are not good for me.
Okay.
I still don't think I've seen the third Hell House, but the second one wasn't bad. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it
I
wasn't
thought
bad.
we watched all 3 of them.
I can't remember.
I think you'd remember.
Yeah.
Okay, then I don't think so. But I didn't think the second one, I just think it wasn't as good as the first one.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've never seen the second one of this, but I've not heard great things.
You have seen them, right, T, you're saying?
Yes, indeed. I don't want to.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't sound...
No, I don't mean to break anyone's heart or anything. I think the thing is that sometimes you capture lightning in a bottle,
Yeah.
and then you leave your bottle outside, and it just stays empty.
Oh no.
And-
You forgot to put the lid back on.
Yeah, that's right. And you're like, oh shit, no.
I have a good friend and I won't out her by saying her name, but she really loves the second one and was like, when we were talking about it, she's like, I know everyone hates it.
I love that for them. I do. I love that. I love when people love films I don't like.
Yeah. But no, I think that this is a really good time. Just the only thing I can think is maybe people were going into it with kind of expecting something different.
Yeah.
I don't know why else people would have such a visceral reaction to like hating this so much.
I will say that, T, you showed us the trailer for this
Yes.
before we started recording, and they show a lot.
Oh, they do.
My God.
They do.
And there was even, I think, 2 scenes that weren't in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But they showed a lot, even with those scenes. Why did you show so much of the movie in the trailer?
That's always a problem.
I don't understand.
And the thing is that the trailer was cut by the filmmakers.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, the thing is for me, because I know you talked about it in your intro about it being the trailer partially that helped it.
Yeah.
I was reading from the beginning of the production, and I will admit there is not a lot of background in this film.
Yeah.
So I will not be my normal Travis self this time around. But I did read in Bloody Disgusting that they had several projects in the works, and it kept falling through with funding.
Okay.
And so they were trying to think of something to do cheaply, but something to do well. And then that's when they came up with the idea. They're like, nobody's really done a fucking ghost hunting show, found footage horror film.
I can't imagine the light bulb that must have gone off when
it's
they
amazing.
stumbled. Because why has nobody? It's
It's ripe
so
for it.
rich. Yeah, like why? It's genius.
But they said what they wanted to do was, quote, tap into this cultural fad and also use it as a style to tell the story.
Yeah.
But it was that trailer, like you said, and it's one specific face in the trailer
Yeah.
that I think helped it to go viral in that way. The difficulty for me that I've always had with Grave Encounters is the success of it was successful. It obviously was made very cheaply and made I think $5 million or something.
Oh, nice.
But $5 million?
Yeah.
When I look at this movie, I feel like this is a movie that should have had that franchise potential.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. I had never even heard of it.
Like,
that's why it's so weird to me.
It's so odd to me which films get chosen by the culture.
because I feel like
Yeah.
this could have been a Paranormal Activity.
Oh, hell yeah. I think it's
It's like
better than that.
why wasn't it? That's
Well,
just weird to me.
But even the Paranormal Activity movies get bad as they go
well,
on.
yeah, but give them a chance to get let them have their shot.
But for what this was made for, $5 million seems like a good little chunk to get
Yeah.
back.
Oh, it is. But I mean, when the sequel comes out and it doesn't generate the kind of buzz that
Yeah.
you'd expect, they had a plan for a third film and it never got made.
That's a bummer, man.
So you're like, this is, and I'm sorry, dude. I like Grave Encounters.
where's
Yeah.
Blumhouse at?
Yeah, dude. Give him.
Right,
Picking up from the bushes.
Yeah. It's like, I got $1 million. With your name on it. Vicious Brothers, you said?
Now, before we investigate this film, we would like to issue a warning for spoilers. Podmortem is a very in-depth podcast, and in thoroughly discussing horror films, we have no choice but to spoil a thing or two. If you don't wish to be spoiled, please go watch the film, then come back and enjoy the show. If you've already seen the film or don't care about spoilers, then let's lock the doors. So the film opens on March 20th, 2010, with an interview of executive producer Jerry Hartfield, played by Benjamin Wilkinson. He explains that he runs a production company in Anaheim, California that focuses on reality TV like Tornado Trackers.
I was already like, look, dude, don't sell us your new shit.
That was his name drop.
On Wednesdays at 9. It's like, we're here for a certain
You gotta
reason.
sell.
I guess so.
This is very serious.
Always be closing.
It is tornadoes.
Yeah.
He says they received a tape in the mail of the pilot of a show called Grave Encounters made by a producer named Lance Preston. The premise of the show was Lance and a group of paranormal investigators would investigate paranormal situations, and Jerry makes it a point to say that this was before all those other ghost hunting shows now.
I laughed out loud because it's so ripping on all of those shows now. He's like, no, he was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he
That's
wasn't.
literally, he says that Lance was really ahead of his time.
That's hilarious.
We immediately cut to an unaired promo of Grave Encounters where Lance Preston, played by Sean Rogerson, says that when he was little, his family moved into a haunted house. We watch as he visits a cemetery, and his voice recounts that the things he experienced in that house stayed with him forever. It is very dramatic, with just as dramatic shots and lighting. But he said it's made him obsessed ever since with trying to catch proof that it's all real. We see Lance taking shots with his camera, and then we see his evidence, a swirl of mist in the shape of a human standing among gravestones.
That was added in post.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're calling Lance Preston a fraud?
Nah.
You're canceled.
We'll have words about Lance.
We'll talk later.
We'll talk about Lance.
He introduces his crew of skilled paranormal investigators. There's the occult specialist, Sasha Parker, played by Ashley Grisco, and the equipment tech, Matt White, played by Juan Reidinger. Now, I'm calling her Sasha.
Right.
Lance does call her Sasha.
Yeah.
Yes, the I believe Canadian pronunciation. I watched a lot of
Like,
the kids.
Sash!
I watched a lot of the kids in the hall, and that's exactly how I remember. But I do want to say I understand that Sasha is the occult specialist.
Right.
I don't really feel that coming up nearly at all.
Not
Yeah.
really.
I would like that to add more,
Yeah.
because Tech Dude is just Tech Dude.
He's
Yeah,
the
no,
tech dude.
yeah, yeah,
Also,
straight up.
we have
Yeah.
a cameraman that is
Is
not introduced.
introed. No.
No.
And we elicit the help of someone later on who plays more of a paranormal specialist role than
Yeah.
Sasha.
Yeah,
Also not mentioned.
but
But we'll get there.
He gets a bold entrance.
Yeah, yes, he's the guest star.
though. Yeah.
But we see clips of them stomping through a graveyard and footage of them investigating places shot with night vision cameras. Lance's voiceover introduces the show with, "If you're ready, it's time to have some grave encounters."
So I want to say that this intro is perfect.
It's so spot on.
It is exactly right.
Yeah.
So accurate in what they're. I keep using the word spoof. Maybe it's a send up. Maybe it's a. I don't know, because they're not making. They're making fun. Never mind.
are. No, they are.
They're completely making fun.
They are, but I wouldn't. I think too. I wouldn't say spoof.
Yeah.
Because I know we said it earlier, but thinking about it, I don't even know if that's because this isn't like a scary movie.
No.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this is very satirical of these shows.
Yes.
Because it is pointing out the flaws in them.
It is.
Yeah.
I
and
mean,
making a lot of fun.
I will say it did make me feel nostalgic for being younger and watching these all the time.
Oh, no,
And I
yeah.
wonder if the Vicious Brothers kind of felt the same way, if this is kind of their,
yeah, I would think so.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean,
because it's just it's too perfect.
Yeah. I do like the way that they do this setup instead of it being like based on true stories or
Yeah.
these events happen but the names are different. No. This I like. We got the tapes back. We don't know where it came from, whatever. This was a guy that, was working with us.
What movie did you get mad?
Hell House.
Yeah.
Because
I
it's
got the same problem here.
well,
I don't
this-
say the same thing. The building sent it.
Well, this I know how they got the tapes because I feel like, and I don't want to get into the end.
No, yeah.
But this, I feel like there's more of an explanation. That was ridiculous. But I do want to say that I feel like this is one of the smartest and most sly title cards I've ever seen in a film.
Yeah.
Because they just did the title of the movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it looks like we're just doing, this is the intro of the show.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's brilliant. Back in Jerry's interview, he says that everything was going smoothly and the edits were looking great. They were excited about the show, but then, of course, they got to episode 6.
It's weird because usually only good things are associated with that number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would have been a good luck charm for the episode. I don't understand.
The producer off screen asked Jerry if he has anything else he wants to say, and Jerry does. He says he wants to make this very clear. What we are about to see is not a movie. It's been put together from something like 70 hours of raw footage that was shot for Grave Encounters. Not one frame has been doctored or manipulated. It's only been edited down for time. And with that, we are thrown into episode 6 of Grave Encounters, The Haunted Asylum.
I'm only laughing because I can think of at least 4 frames that have been doctored. But,
No, they haven't.
Yeah.
I will say that I do like this conceit of them getting the footage and them being the ones who edited it.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes with a lot of found footage, you're like, nah, how the fuck?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who put this together?
And this is another one, we've talked about it before, no music, no
No.
score.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is passing a lot of my
Yeah.
tests.
Yeah.
And the most important thing that we always say, why are they recording this?
We know why.
They have absolute reasons to have cameras set up. They have absolute
Yeah,
reasons
yeah.
to be holding cameras. I mean,
I think this is why this becomes one of my favorite found footage films, because it does answer those questions and it doesn't make it to where you're like, nah, come on now.
Yeah.
'Cause Hell House, there was a lot of that for me.
you're right. Well,
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I like this. The way that they did this, like you're saying, they edited it.
Yes.
They did. Cool. Then we don't need to ask anything else. You've already told us. Like you were saying. And I just like this better than the bullshit that this is based on true stories and it's not.
Yeah.
Or this is true events, but the name's been changed, and it's like, no, it didn't. It's like, where the fuck did this happen
Prove it.
at? Yeah, fuck out of here.
I think the reason why those bother me so much is because nobody can ever do it better than the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
So why do we keep trying?
Yeah.
It's like if you're trying to make Abbey Road over and over again. It's like it's been done. You can't do it again. And that's not even my favorite Beatles album. But it's the one everyone knows.
The clapboard claps in front of us before seeing Lance Preston warming up his voice while being mic'd. He stands in front of the titular haunted asylum, specifying that he wants it to be present in the background. They set up the framing, and Lance welcomes us to this episode of Grave Encounters. He introduces the asylum, Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital, as one of the most terrifying places he's ever seen.
I do want to say that this is filmed at Riverview Hospital in British Columbia.
Okay.
And for some reason, I read an interview in Bloody Disgusting, and the Vicious Brothers would not say where this was made.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, well, some of it is still open in operation, so we don't want anyone to know where it is and like visit it or whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it is like a super popular filming destination.
Okay.
I really hope that nothing
Is
in
still
this
going
film
on?
is still, still operational.
No. But they said that I think the X-Files filmed an episode there. I think they said Deadpool 2 filmed a lot there.
Really?
And the one that really caught me, and Halloween Resurrection.
Hey!
All right.
We'll get there someday.
We will.
We're taking our time.
He begins to describe the 6 buildings of the hospital, but is interrupted when a car drives by. He insists that he'll pick it up from where he left off because he's not doing the intro again.
That is...
Yeah.
See, and that's when I was like, I think Lance is a dick.
Yeah.
Because, dude, you know how many stand-ups I did for news packages in college? You know how many times I fucked up? You know how many times we had to run it back?
A lot.
No, yeah.
Like a
A
lot.
lot?
Yeah. I was never like this.
He's like, I'm not fucking doing that again.
No. And he said like 2 lines, dude.
He did.
Not professional.
He picks back up at its history. Between 1895 and 1960, it housed more than 18,000 of Maryland's most disturbed patients. After it was closed in 1963, there were reports of disturbances, apparitions, objects moving on their own, and even the sound of laughter. He announces that tonight, he and his crew will be locked down in the asylum for 8 hours during peak times of activity.
I will say 8 hours is admirable.
Yeah.
The locking in is admirable.
Also true. You don't have to do that.
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think
No.
if I'm here for 8 hours, we don't need to lock the door.
No.
I mean, I'm already committing to that.
I promise not to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. This can't be like an honor system thing.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
But with their state-of-the-art ghost hunting equipment, they're in search of what is known as the ghost of the Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital.
Okay.
That's a bit long.
You gotta work
Yeah.
on that name.
Well, to me, it was like I thought he was gonna, because he was building it up.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna say the wailing woman of the
No, yeah,
or
yeah.
something, you know. But
The
it's-
ghost.
Yeah, it's like going to a restaurant and being like, now we will be having what has become known as food.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
like name a meal.
Yeah. But and cut. And that's
Okay.
it.
Very good. It is funny to me that with the raw footage, Jerry decided to leave in all these outtakes and all that.
Yeah.
He's like, I really want them to get a feel for who Lance is.
I want them to know their dynamics.
Yeah.
A car pulls up and Lance goes to meet Morgan Turner, played by Sean McDonald. Lance thanks Morgan for coming, and Morgan seems pretty thrilled, asking if this is really going to be on TV. They specify that this part won't be, but they do record everything. Again,
There you go.
know, they set back up to film and introduce Morgan as a local town historian here to shed light on the dark past of the Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital. Morgan explains that the building's history is typical of other hospitals at the time. He details that it was built in 1893 to address overcrowding in state hospitals.
In 1893, Collingwood Estate.
Ryan, get out of here. No, Ryan, sit down. Sit down.
We're big fans.
He says that mental illness was very misunderstood and they were just beginning to develop treatments. We see black and white footage from Collingwood, patients with dark circles under their eyes staring untrustingly at the camera. A man watching static on a TV, another fighting his straitjacket. We see an inmate having to be restrained before cutting back to Morgan. He says that the conditions were awful. A lot of patients had to sleep on the floor, at times without blankets or even clothes.
I will say, I know this is very low budget, but I did get a little chuckle at the stage makeup on these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to do what you got to do. I will say for all three of us, we love a history lesson in a movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We love is this technically a research scene? Because they are researching the hospital.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I can get with this. And I love the feeling of House on Haunted Hill in 1999.
Yeah.
And it's about to get even bigger.
It
Oh,
it like really, really is. Because there's moments where I'm like, oh, that's the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
And then like right now I'm like, oh, this is outside.
Yeah.
Lance brings up someone named Arthur Friedkin, who apparently has the most infamous story about Collingwood.
Friedkin.
Yes. Morgan chuckles, saying that he figured he would be asked about that. We see a black and white photo of Dr. Arthur Friedkin, played by Arthur Korber, and Morgan describes him as the head physician from 1937 to 1948. We see archival footage of Friedkin performing a lobotomy on a patient, and Morgan continues that he gained notoriety because of his experimental brain surgery. About 140 lobotomies were performed under his supervision.
I got to be honest. I'm not a doctor. I don't
You're not?
understand. Well, I've lied to all of you. I don't understand how the lobotomy was ever a thing that made sense.
Yeah.
It seems
I mean,
like
I
the
can-
worst
I can see in a very like rudimentary understanding
of the human brain.
of this part of the brain is causing this ailment. Let's just take it out. You know what I mean?
But do you see what it's doing to them
Yeah, I
afterwards?
was gonna say, I
yeah,
don't know.
maybe after the first one, that should have been a clue that maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
And he did 140 of
He
them.
did 140, and it looks like he was head physician for 11 years, and he did 140 of them.
Wow.
That's like 13 a year.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. That's one a
more
month,
than
dude.
On August 15th, 1948, 6 patients broke out of their rooms and stabbed Friedkin in his office. I wonder if they used a very sharp pencil.
Now, the newspaper clipping they used for this is very small for what happened.
It really
It's
is.
a tiny
They didn't
ass
want to
little
talk about it.
section. Yeah.
Like, this isn't front page.
Like,
It got
this is
buried.
big news.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, Dewey defeated Truman or whatever.
Yeah,
so-
no, tuck it away. Tuck it away. We see the crime scene photo with Friedkin lying slain on the floor. He was found the next morning by a nurse, but this is the day that Babe Ruth died, and his death overshadowed all of the news from Collingwood.
It's Groucho and Elvis
Come
all over again.
on.
Looking directly into the camera, Lance remarks that it's a crazy story.
When he said that, I was like, oh, you don't care.
Yeah, no, not at
Not at
all.
all. He asks Morgan honestly if he believes in ghosts. Morgan chuckles and says that he doesn't know, but if ghosts do exist, this is a great place to go looking for them.
I gotta be honest. Lance Preston, as it continues, he gets like dream quotes from the people he interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this would have been a great episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
It really would have. But we cut to Lance and the crew, including their cameraman, T.C. Gibson, played by Merwin Mondesir, walking with Kenny Sandoval, played by Bob Rathie. I inserted TC's credit here because he's never introduced, like with the rest of the crew.
Oh, yeah.
Part of me wondered, I'm like, well, I mean, if you're watching a show, he's behind.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess, but
So-
like I think of like Worth It. Like we like Adam and he's
Yeah.
behind the camera, you know what I mean?
Is everything BuzzFeed? Is that what's
And it all comes back to Watcher.
It does. That's true.
But they approach the doors to the asylum where someone has spray painted the words "Death awaits." Lance remarks, "I guess we'll find out."
It's edgy.
Yeah.
But behind the camera, Sasha just laments that this is so lame. Getting to work on the padlock, Kenny warns that this is just high school kids and that the old lock is going to take him a while. Matt says that the message is so cheesy, he doesn't even think that they should use it. But Lance says that with slow motion and the right music behind it, everything is creepy.
He's not wrong because
Yeah.
that's literally like 90% of the ghost shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I will say, when they enter the building, TC cleans the lens with like the dirtiest, like crunchiest rag.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
wondered
gross.
why he did that.
And
Crunchy.
well, it is. You hear it.
it's like a paper towel or something. It's like, why are you using that?
You've ruined that
Yeah.
cover.
But Kenny gets the chain off the door and leads them into the asylum. When they walk inside, they find it abandoned and dirty and graffitied, and Lance is overjoyed. Kenny points to the reception area where families would check the patients in, but Lance just tells them to film everything. As Matt puts a cigarette in his mouth, Kenny tells him that he can't smoke in here and he needs to take it outside.
I think the building is damaged enough.
Yeah.
That cigarette's
I don't
not going to
think it's
do
gonna
shit, dude. It's fine. Smoke up. I'll jump. I don't even smoke. I'll join you.
I'll join you. We cut to Lance interviewing Kenny, introducing him as the caretaker of the property for the last 8 years. He asks Kenny if he thinks the place is haunted, but Kenny is confused about the interview process, asking if he should answer Lance or talk to the camera. Once Lance tells him to talk to him, Kenny answers that he doesn't know if he believes in ghosts or spirits, but he has seen strange things here, especially at night. You mentioning the decision to keep that in, like they kept this in too, when he's like, do I speak to you?
I think they're like, look, we're trying to have fun here still.
Yeah.
I understand what happened to the crew. But that doesn't mean
levity.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we can't have fun.
He says the building is old and the pipes make noises, but he can't shake the feeling that he's not alone. Lance is pleased with this answer and smugly tells the camera, let's go check it out. He starts to walk away, but he has to tell Kenny to follow him.
Dude. I'm telling you. And I forgot completely. I was telling Brittany, this comedy at the beginning.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's really funny, dude.
Because it's like kind of awkward.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Because it feels, I don't want to be like, this feels like real life, but it feels kind of like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? I would believe this.
Yeah, well, because it's not over the top.
Yeah,
it's
no.
just, it's very funny.
And someone who doesn't know,
Yeah.
of course you're going to stay there.
Yeah.
It's just great.
They all walk together in a dark hallway, and Lance comments that it feels like they go on forever and that it's hard to believe that they housed thousands of people.
I do want to say that line, just the idea of them going on forever, very subtle foreshadowing.
Yeah.
From behind the camera, Sasha notices that it's so dark in the hallway, even though it's still daytime outside.
Also,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's more work put into the script than,
Then they get
Oh,
credit
no,
for it.
yeah.
yeah. Now, I will say there is some stuff later that I'm like, all right, we can stop.
Yeah, that's enough.
That's enough.
Matt teasingly asks if she's scared, and the two chuckle. Kenny cautions them that if they think it's dark now, they should wait until tonight. None of the lights here work, and it's going to get very dark.
So we need to be setting up lights now.
Yes.
Either that or the glow sticks that you break and they
Yeah.
glow for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Just leave a trail of them or leave a box here. Well, we might need them here. Leave a box there. The lights don't work. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
I feel like we
Yeah, I don't care if this
Fuck you.
place isn't haunted.
He's like, I'm just the caretaker.
Yeah.
The lights don't work here. Fuck you.
Why
out.
don't they work?
Get out. No, you can't film here anymore. No, they said fuck you to me.
You're banned. When the camera comes back up, they are standing next to a large window. Kenny draws their attention to it as he opens it, closes it, and locks it. He tells them that at night he locks it up, but sometimes when he comes back in the morning, it's wide open. He says that it's like something's trying to get out.
Okay, so that's terrifying.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you hear Matt's reaction whenever he says that. He's like, and then this thing's wide open. He goes, what?
Dude,
Like, at least he's into it.
yeah.
Because Lance kind
Lance
of
is like, wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
What a crazy story. Stares down Lynn's at me. It's like, dude, come on.
Lance closes it and locks it for himself before turning to the camera and determining that it's a definite paranormal hotspot. Matt promptly marks the floor next to them with the large X and bright tape. In a well-lit hallway, the crew walks past the tiny cells that the patients were kept in. Matt asks how they were supposed to help these people when they're cramming them into tiny rooms. They step into one of these rooms and are surprised to see writing all over the walls. They ask Kenny if this is real, and he confirms that it is. The man who lived here spent his time writing this. The camera focuses on one scrawled phrase: demons in the walls, demons in the halls, demons in my mind, demons you will find. Bars.
Yeah.
Bars.
It's a Bob.
Dr. Seuss was in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
And what
where
was
we
the
held-
name of the patient?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Seuss.
Oh, that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. He's right.
Yeah.
So I don't think they treated him properly. He was just telling the truth.
He was trying to let us know.
Yes.
Sasha asks again if a real patient wrote this, and again, Kenny says yes. He doesn't know if the patient was here up until the end, but he was here and he did write this. Lance remarks to the camera, very creepy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lance is doing the most.
Yeah, he's
Constantly.
No, he's in host mode.
He
Yeah.
is.
And a lot of that leaves a lot of organic feelings
Yeah.
out of it.
Yes. They go into a mess of a bathroom. In the disarray, a bathtub sits. Kenny says that supposedly a patient killed herself in this tub by slitting her wrists. The prospect of this only excites Lance, but Sasha comments on how sad it is. Kenny says that there have been reports of hearing running water in the room, but he's never personally heard anything like that. He leads Lance away to show him the service tunnels, but Sasha stays behind, getting a closer shot of the stained tub with her camera.
But he doesn't, like, the way he's telling him, it doesn't sound like he's like, oh, this is just hearsay. He's like, look, dude, there's some weird shit
That
Oh, yeah.
happened
that's
here.
going on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And Lance is just like, fascinating.
Yeah. Very creepy.
It's like, come on, man. I will say I think that it is a very smart little tour that they're taking them on.
Yeah.
But also us on.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that it's a very interesting it's just like James Wan's house things.
Yeah. Where he'll kind of give you,
Oh,
subtly give you the
okay,
tour.
okay.
Gives you the geography, and so you can feel, and you can also get an idea of the context of each scare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming up. One thing I do think that they could have done that would have been very interesting is it seems like one person lingers on each thing.
Oh, for that to be, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that'd be kind of neat.
Don't want to give anything away, but I hear you.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But TC does ask Sasha if she's okay, which I thought was kind because the group seems to be pretty jaded.
Well, they've done 5 episodes already.
Yeah, they're seasoned pros. Lance is overjoyed in the service tunnels, saying that this is exactly what he was looking for as he slaps the walls. He's like, this baby can fit so many demons in it. Kenny informs them that the service tunnels are used to connect all of the buildings, and there's about a quarter mile of them.
I mean, this is like demons in the wall.
Yeah.
Demons in the halls.
Lance says that it's like a maze where they can easily get lost. Kenny says that he was down here one day walking to the east wing when the air got really cold and still. It felt like someone was watching him, and he admits that it was a very eerie feeling. Sasha gasps, drawing their attention, but she laughs when she realizes that she was only scared by her own shadow. I do like Kenny's role here because I'm always compelled by people that are like, look, I don't know if I believe in any of the shit or not, but I did feel this, but
Yeah.
I did see this, but this window does, you know what I mean?
He's not
Because
trying to.
I'm not a reliable, I'm not reliable.
You think everything's haunted.
I believe too much.
Yes.
Yeah,
But this, it feels like he's like, I'm not trying to sell you anything.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is just what's happening.
I'm not saying that it is or isn't haunted, but this is something that I experienced.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's like, look, dude, there's
Just
weird
seems-
shit.
seems
Yeah.
just like a regular
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
And that's the other thing is that he's doing really great for having never been on camera before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will admit, though, when she did that, I also was like, what was that? And then when she was like, oh, it was my shadow, I was like, bitch. Yeah.
But you're
You're
primed.
already-
You're
Yeah,
primed.
no,
Yeah.
yeah.
And in all honesty, these service tunnels are probably the scariest part of the whole.
Oh,
Hell
yeah.
yes.
Even when they go there on BuzzFeed Unsolved to these tunnels, I'm like, that's the least.
It's so scary.
Yeah.
But upstairs, Lance introduces us to Gary Crawford from Crawford Contracting, played by Fred Keating. He asks Gary if it's true that he had been contracted to do work here a while ago. Gary says yes, he was in 1993, but they eventually shit-canned the idea. He apologizes, and they have to do another take where he doesn't cuss. Because Lance is like, oh, no. No. You can't.
It's funny that he feels that way now
Yeah.
because good
Yeah.
lord.
No, they be cussing
Yeah,
later.
it's and
Yeah.
we'll talk. It just gets to be a lot.
He says that he and his crew were here for about 2 weeks. When Lance asks him if they experienced any paranormal activity, Gary bristles at this. He says that when he got here, some of his crew were convinced that they were hearing weird noises and some of the tools were disappearing overnight. Gary assumed looters were taking them. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of like Fallout. Like,
Well, raiders were coming and taking their shit.
literally the mental picture I got.
My wrench is missing.
But he never saw anyone. Lance broaches the topic of an incident, and Gary seems hesitant to talk about it. He says that one of his guys was on a ladder pulling wood in this room that they're in right now, and he swears that someone pushed him off the ladder. He fell, hurt his knee, and quit. Lance says that this doesn't sound like a residual haunting. It sounds like an intelligent haunting.
It sounds like a workman's comp claim.
Yeah. When Gary offers no comment, Lance explains to the camera. A residual haunting is an echo from the past, repeating over and over again on a loop. An intelligent haunting is actually a spirit that has intention. He says that there are many reports of people being pushed, scratched, or thrown. He admits that it is rare, but it does happen.
Thrown.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's a big claim.
Yeah.
In a hallway, Lance interviews Punk Guy, played by Max Train, and Punk Girl, played by Martha Eason, who has her face blurred.
So this confused me because in the trailer, her face isn't blurred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's blurred in the film.
I wonder, I mean, maybe something happened behind the scenes or something.
That would be sad. Like
It
that
would be
was
sad.
like they broke up or something.
Yeah. But maybe like to add some realism to it, because some,
Yeah, but I mean,
in a lot of reality shows, you have people that are like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be attached to this.
No, but that sucks to get cast in it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, and we will be covering your face.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, very good. Lance asks if they spent a lot of time here, and Punk Guy says that they have. In high school, a lot of them used to come here to just hang out. He says they were standing right where they are right now, making out, and he looked up and saw someone standing at the end of the hall. He was wearing a white hospital gown and had a shaved head.
It's so funny because when he's telling him, he's like, I swear, Dad. And he's like, what the fuck?
Did you say dad?
Yeah.
He
the
says-
kid, yeah.
he says
I
dad?
rewinded it because I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh, he's like, look, Dad, I promise I'm not lying.
Oh, to the camera.
Yeah, to the
Oh,
camera.
I thought he was calling
hilarious.
Lance dad.
No. He says, I'm sorry. He says it to the camera, and I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
That's very funny.
But Lance then looks directly at us and declares, full spectral apparition.
That-
It's like, can you just be a normal
Yeah.
person for fucking 5 minutes?
It made me think of Ryan and Shane, where they did the hourglass shape and they were like full-bodied apparition. And then it also made me think of a joke that I wrote a long time ago, but I never had the chance to tell it, so I'm telling you now.
Okay.
I like my apparitions like I like my red wine.
Full-bodied? That's good.
Thank you. I've always wanted to tell that joke.
That's pretty good. Outside, Lance and crew approach a gardener who is literally working, proposing that they grab an interview with him. They approach him, Javier Ortega, played by Luis Javier, and ask if they can interview him. We abruptly cut to the interview where Lance asks him if he's ever noticed anything strange around the building. Javier says no and asks what he means. Lance asks if he's ever heard noises or seen anything strange, but Javier says no. Lance immediately looks over at TC and tells him to cut. But the camera keeps rolling as Lance lowers his voice to ask Javier if he could just say that he saw something. Javier insists that he really needs to get back to work, but Lance goes to Sasha and asks if they have any petty cash left. Sasha hands over money and Lance takes it straight to Javier. He offers him $20, and before Javier can answer, we cut to them starting the interview again. This is when it's like, oh, so this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you kind of feel it already, but this, it's like, just say that you saw something.
yeah,
Yeah.
but $20 is $20. Is that right? Yeah.
He's like, bet.
Yeah.
Bet.
I do want to say this whole sequence, what's about to happen, is hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Jerry is a fucking scoundrel for including this into the
Yes.
film.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Scoundrel. I think he's like, look, they didn't believe in anything.
No, yeah.
I want to get that across,
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
which makes what happens even bigger.
Oh, no, yeah.
Lance introduces Javier again as the resident gardener and asks if he's ever seen anything strange in the past 10 years of working here. When Javier had previously said he just got this job.
Yeah.
But Javier says, yeah, I saw a ghost over there. He points behind them at the building and says in a monotone that it was really scary. Lance remarks, a ghost on the exterior of the building? Unbelievable. He says that this is a paranormal hotspot unlike anything they've ever shot before.
It's also the gardeners look in the camera.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm serious. This definitely happened. Yes.
They set up a camera in the parking lot to get a very dramatic shot of Houston Gray, played by Mackenzie Gray, getting out of his car. He looks up at the building and takes off his sunglasses as Lance's voiceover explains that because of the massive size and scope of the building, they've called on psychic medium Houston Gray to help them. So even if they're jaded, at least we have a psychic that's going to come and bring some genuine energy.
Yeah.
You mean the
Right?
guy that got out of the car like Puff Daddy?
Yeah, that guy.
I was thinking he saw The Matrix yesterday. But yeah, it's good. We have somebody who believes, somebody who's going to bring some,
Some
real.
validity.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Let's hear it.
With his sunglasses back on, Houston walks down a hallway with Lance. When Lance asks if Houston is sensing anything, he becomes suddenly struck, raising his hands and proclaiming, "Wow." He says there is such intense energy here that it's like 100 voices talking at once and the sound is deafening. He continues, saying that there's something else here. It's some kind of dark spirit or even a demon.
Sorry, it was at this point that I knew exactly who they were parodying. And it was this guy from an English ghost hunting show.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to get possessed everywhere that they went.
Oh God.
And in my mind, I was like, okay, so he's clearly an expert, but goddamn is he a liability.
Yeah.
Don't bring him anywhere.
Maybe we don't take him on this. That is painfully funny.
It's just as bad as the friend who can't handle his liquor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh fuck.
Maybe sit this one out.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't bring him this time.
You're fun when you don't drink.
Yeah.
We love you no
Right,
matter
when
what.
you're not possessed, you're cool.
You're great,
Yeah.
dude.
It's like, oh, there he goes again.
Yeah.
At what point do you get desensitized?
Oh, he's snarling again.
Yeah,
His eyes are
fuck.
white.
Yeah.
Fuck.
He said, my mother's doing things in hell I do not want to repeat.
I don't know if we're going to be friends after
Yeah,
this.
this is pretty bad. This might be the worst.
He tells Lance that they need to be extremely careful tonight because they do not want to be messing with something like this. In the bathroom, Houston says that he feels a deep well of profound sadness. Suddenly, he is struck with the vision of a female patient. He stands over the bathroom where the alleged suicide took place with his eyes closed, saying that he sees red water, blood. He asserts that she died right here by slitting her wrists in the bathtub. He opens his eyes and looks at Lance, who tells him that the caretaker said a girl did just that right here. He says, Houston, that's incredible. Houston dramatically looks between Lance and the tub before declaring that her spirit is still with us. Lance calls cut, and Houston immediately busts out laughing.
I forgot this, and I was so happy until he said that, and then I was like,
You
"You
believe
fucker!"
him?
Yeah.
Well, first I'm like, he's a character. I was like, but he's here to help,
And he
Cool.
was right about
and
what
then,
happened.
Yeah,
Yes.
he did say
Everything.
that, and I was like, oh shit, okay, I forgot this part. And then when he was like cut, and he's like, yeah, you like that, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, bitch, you told him already.
Yeah.
He was like,
It's like, thanks for the cue cards.
It's
man.
it's so upsetting.
No, it is making every psychic look bad.
Yeah.
Lance laughs with him as Matt pops a cigarette in his mouth. Houston asks if that was too much, and they tell him no, it wasn't.
It was a lot, though.
Yeah.
It was blood. Outside, Lance jots down notes, and Sasha asks him from behind the camera if he's excited about episode 6 and if he thinks they'll be seeing any ghosts tonight. Lance flatly says that he's sure they'll be seeing hundreds of them. Sasha accuses him of sounding skeptical, and Lance admits that it would be great if they did, but even if not, they'll just make sure that they can get some good scares. So this at least gave me hope that they are open and they do believe.
Yeah.
They're just jaded at this point.
It is very subtly to me a nod to the Blair Witch Project. I remember when they first get out there and they ask Heather if they think they're going to see anything, and she's
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like this is that moment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moments that I'm like, oh, this is their blank,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
you know. But I mean, to me, it's more homage than, I mean, everybody knows the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
You're not going to do a found footage film and be like, oh, no one's going to notice if
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're obviously nodding
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But this reminds Lance of something, and he calls out to TC, who is throwing a football around with Matt. He asks if he wants to get some time-lapse shots, and TC rushes over. What follows is actually a quite nice time-lapse shot of the sun setting over Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital.
Well, hold on though, because when they're playing fucking football, he knocks camera guy, was his name Matt down. And when he comes over, if you listen, just like he did in the background, he's saying something. He goes, "Oh, the ground's really slippery." No, you got knocked on your ass, dude. That's what happened.
Yeah. That had nothing to do with the ground.
And it's so low in the back. I was like, "What the fuck did he say?"
I actually
but
forgot.
He's laying on the ground. I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
And TC's just like, "What's up?
Yeah.
What do you need?"
I'm getting back to work.
Just moves on.
I did want to talk about the time lapse shot because I'm a sucker for those.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, you get an extra point. Not, maybe not completely, not really, but in my heart.
But kind of.
Yes.
Later, in the dark hallway, the second floor east hallway, Matt blows hot air on a camera lens before wiping it clean. We watch through the eye of camera 4 as he does this, gathers his things, and walks away.
I'm sorry. You've got to have somebody go with
Yeah,
me.
he's alone.
Yes.
I'm not doing this shit alone. There's no way.
They talked about it in interviews, the directors. They said that none of the actors had trailers, nothing like that. So they were all just hanging out in this building the whole time. And you have to go to the restroom. You go off alone in this fucking...
Nah.
Oh, hell
You know?
no.
Nah.
And I'm like, just because we're making a film about that doesn't mean that this building doesn't have a history.
Yeah, no.
And
Even that, if it's just big, I don't want to get lost.
no.
I know you don't want to hear me use the bathroom, stand a couple doors down, but you're going to be in the hallway.
Yes.
Please don't leave me out here by myself.
Get a buddy.
Yeah.
Travel in pairs.
Yeah.
That's day one.
Yeah.
And honestly, why isn't TC with him? He has
Yeah.
Yeah.
he has knowledge of this stuff. He's the
He's
cameraman.
the cameraman.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Matt does the same in the third floor patient room with the writing all over the walls. He positions camera 8 so that it faces the bed. He does the same in the third floor bathroom. He aims the camera at the haunted bathtub. He excitedly sets up camera 9 in front of the haunted window on the 4th floor. I think that's the one where he's like, nah, when he has like his Grave Encounter shirt.
Yeah, which is okay. So I don't mean to give away something that doesn't happen in this film, but I distinctly remember someone being punted out of that window.
Really?
Yeah. Was it punted?
It was punted.
Like Baxter?
Oh, no.
Now this is happening.
Baxter's fine, though.
Yes.
I remembered more. I was waiting for more to happen with the window. I'll say that. I don't
Yeah.
distinctly remember someone being.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that happens in another film, and I'm just
It probably does.
conflating the two. But I was like, oh, Matt's getting punted today.
But camera 10 is set up in the sub-level tunnels. Once again, he's down there alone.
Yes.
He even admits that it's creepy and he's getting the hell out of there before picking up his things and making a hasty retreat. At a makeshift control center in the lobby of the building, Lance introduces the audience to Matt, who has his monitors and computer set up. As he smokes a cigarette, he says that he's set up 10 static cameras at the hot spots. They're recording constantly on the tape, and the recordings are backed up on a hard drive, and everything is wirelessly transmitted to his computer so he can see what's going on at all times. Lance asks him to explain some of the equipment that they use. Matt holds up an EMF meter used to measure electrostatic and electromagnetic fields. Human fields are stable, but paranormal ones will cause a spike. He presents an infrared thermometer, which detects drops in air temperature that ghosts are believed to cause. This will help to provide evidence of these cold spots. He shows us a regular audio recorder used to capture EVPs. Lance asks him to explain what that is for the audience, and Matt does. Electronic voice phenomenon. He says that it's able to pick up sounds that we can't catch with human ears. He turns on his favorite gadget, a Geiger counter, which I was shocked.
Yeah.
Okay, so his only defense of having it is that it looks really cool.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And it does look really cool, but it's used to measure radiation, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's why I was like, okay.
So I will say I did try to do a little research on this because I was like, why does he have one of those?
Yeah.
And I saw this interview with this lady who was a ghost hunter, and she was showing off the Geiger counter, and it started to click when she turned it on, which I think is just what a Geiger counter does.
Right.
But the interviewer was like, oh, what is that? And she goes, oh, they're aware of me, basically is what she was saying. And then she's like, that's so interesting. And the interviewer was like, well, what does it mean? Like, what does it lead to communication? Does it? She goes, I said it means they're aware of me.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I was like, oh, okay.
Sorry.
I guess that's the
So
extent.
what does that mean?
It means nothing.
I thought he was worried about like Fallout ghouls being in the building or something.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of ghouls
Yeah.
in here.
There's super mutants somewhere.
I'm gonna know when they're coming.
Yes,
Fucking
but
rad roaches all over the place.
it's just clicking all over.
Yeah.
No.
But yes, it means they're aware of you, I guess, which means
Bet.
nothing to me.
Yeah, so I thought this was kind of like, because I think in Ghostbusters it's the Gaga meter or something, or like the little thing he has to find the ghosts. And I was like, okay, is that what you're trying to do here? Because that's for radiation. That has nothing to do with ghosts.
I was confused too.
The Gaga counter.
Yeah, he's got a little thing. He turns it on, and it's got little antennas that move around, and it tells him, I guess, where like the energy of the ghosts are.
Is it measured in Roma?
I have-
Yes, damn it! I was about to make a Lady Gaga joke.
I have
You
no
son
idea.
of a bitch!
You'll have
you
to
so
ask
mad?
Dr. Venkman. I have no idea.
Of all the people, me to make the joke.
I know. I was like waiting for him to stop. Ready to jump in like double dutch, and you took it from me.
Poor
Oh, so
JP.
you've never seen Ghostbusters?
I watched it with you,
Then you don't remember.
I've never seen Ghostbusters.
dude. It's
No,
good.
it's great, yeah.
It's good.
I'll have to watch it after this. And he said Lady Gaga's in it?
Yeah. There is no Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Anyway, Matt assures Lance and the audience that if there's anything paranormal happening in this building, they will catch it. We cut to Lance standing at the door with Kenny. He says that they're about to initiate lockdown, with Kenny literally locking them inside the building, which I think that's illegal.
Is it?
It's a fire hazard. I remember
Oh,
when we,
Oh, yeah,
when
yeah.
we literally do an escape room, they're like, we cannot legally lock the
Yeah,
door. If you
yeah.
want to come out, you can come
Well,
out. Like, you
maybe
can't
now.
just lock people in there. This was 2011.
They had to know what fire
No,
was.
yeah. No, I mean, like, I'm sure there's different codes that they change all the time.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Sorry, Nay. All I'm trying to say is that, again, they're going this extra mile that is so unnecessary.
It is.
No,
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Plus, nobody can see that. Why
No.
wouldn't you just be like, say you're gonna lock
That's-
it, dude,
Yes.
and leave that thing
That's
open?
what I was about
And-
to say. If you are like whatever enough to have a literal fake psychic, you can just say that
Yeah.
you're locked in here. You don't have to actually do that.
And here's the thing as well, somebody who has filmed, not stuff like this, but stuff, the idea of this, you want a shot of him locking from the outside.
Yeah.
And you can't because
Yeah.
everybody's
We're all
in here.
Yeah.
So it's pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Pixar didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like it is really
So-
locked, but we don't know that.
I already don't believe
There's
you.
no proof. But Lance shakes Kenny's hand and the two vow to see each other at 6 a.m. 6 a.m.
Very important.
Kenny wishes them luck and shuts the door. Matt gets childish in his excitement, even humping Lance's leg while he's wrapping up a phone call. It was funny because Kenny just left and he's on the phone and he's like, "Stop, I was on with Kenny." Like, it's like,
Yeah. Well, you don't need to call him already. You made your promises. You did all that. I did laugh because once again, Jerry's like, no, that's hilarious. Leave it in.
Yeah.
yeah. We really want to get who Matt was, you know?
Yeah, Matt was hilarious.
But TC is shocked that they actually locked the doors.
Thank you.
Asking Lance what he's supposed to do if he needs to get more equipment from his truck. Again, the
Yeah.
only one
Yeah.
making sense. I gotta say, TC uses some language later on that I really don't like, but he was my favorite character.
I will say TC started as my favorite character.
Yeah, he gets real mean.
It's like, what the fuck?
Like, it's understandable up until a point, but TC's the only one with some sense at this point. We cut to Lance, Sasha, Matt, and Houston standing in a tableau. Lance tells us that this is the biggest place they've ever investigated and the most dangerous. He says that this building was built like a prison, including barred windows. They couldn't even get out if they wanted to. They're stuck until Kenny lets them out at 6 a.m. He says that they will be in pitch black, filming with 3 night vision capable cameras and the static cams at the hot spots. Lance says that if everyone is ready, it's time to have some, and they all dramatically say together, "Grave Encounters."
I gotta say, I loved their little tableau.
Yeah.
The backlighting, the
Yeah.
Yeah.
mean mugging the camera. And then when they did it in unison, I was like, this is great.
This is TV.
Yeah,
good.
this is real TV.
We cut to Lance walking down one of the dark hallways of the building, describing it as having been deserted for more than 50 years. He passes a random gurney in the hallway and says that they are in search of spirits who were restless in life and perhaps an afterlife as well. We see from the static cam as Houston leads them down another hallway, following a cold spot. Lance says that this area is where a full apparition of a patient with the shaved head was seen.
Full-bodied apparition.
Yes. He tells Sasha to use the EVP, and she does. She records herself asking if there's someone with them, if they're a patient here. Did they used to live in the hospital? We hear nothing. And when Sasha plays the recording back, there are no answers to her questions. Lance assures the spirit that they have nothing to fear and implores it to show itself if it is here. Houston says that the coldness is traveling down the hall and it wants them to follow. They do, into an area with the static cam set up in front of the window. Sasha asks for a sign in the form of the spirit opening the window. They wait silently, but nothing happens.
She's
That
like-
was a big ask.
Or
Yeah.
punt one of us out of it.
Whatever.
But
She's
this
the
is-
Shane.
But this is all pretty standard.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
We see this on a lot of shows.
Yeah.
So far, everything's going the way it always
For
does.
sure.
Yeah, and I personally like that nothing's happening
Right.
Yeah.
because it's,
Yeah.
laying the groundwork.
We cut to Lance describing the use of spirit photography.
He sells everything as bigger than it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he explains it all and he goes, it's better known as spirit photography. It's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's not a big, bold
You're-
name.
Yeah.
Also known as ghosts.
We've already said Lance, he's doing the most.
He's a
always doing
character.
he
He
is.
is. I bet everybody's like, Jesus, Lance.
Like, can you
This
just
is
a little
yeah,
bit?
just trying to get some work done.
He's setting up a still cam to capture what can't be seen with the human eye. He snaps 3 photos, a candid of Sasha, one of Houston, and one of Matt, and we see them in black and white. Lance tells us that they're going to have to wait for the pictures to be developed, so if there is a ghost behind them, they won't know until later.
I liked, again, not seeing anything.
Yeah.
They had said in an interview that this idea came from scouting locations because they would take photos from that too. Mm-hmm. And in one of their scouting location photos, they saw what they claim was a shadow person.
Ooh,
I'd like to see the photo.
Yeah.
I
Before-
believe them wholeheartedly. No, I'm just kidding. I am intrigued.
Yes, I am
Oh, yeah.
intrigued as well. It could have been their shadow, but
Yeah.
No.
okay.
Sasha sits on the floor in the room with the writing on the walls at 12:01 a.m. She asks out loud if someone here wrote on these walls and what they were trying to communicate. I mean, I think they were pretty clear. There's demons in the walls.
Just give me a beat. Demons in my mind,
Yeah.
fire on my brain.
He needs some snare in his headphones.
Yes.
But she invites it to try communicating with her. In the bathroom, Lance settles down into the bathtub. He asks for the spirit who took her life in the tub he sits in to come forward. After a little bit of silence, he admits that he is very creeped out in here.
There is no way I would ever lie in this tub.
That's a lot.
It was stained.
It was stained.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want the spirit to feel like I was mocking them.
That's the thing.
That's what I would worry about.
And you kind of are.
A little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, a little bit.
I hate to even say this, but even if there was nothing that happened and this was just like a setup old building, I still don't want to get in that tub.
I mean, it's a health hazard. It's
Yeah.
got to be.
Like, I like these pants.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
At the control center in the lobby at 1:25 a.m., Matt watches the feeds. He looks around when he hears something behind him and nervously asks on the radio why he needs to be the one that sits down here by himself. But then he scans the air with his Geiger counter. No ghouls.
No.
I did.
They're aware of me.
We cut from Sasha being in the room with the writing on the walls at 12:01, and now Matt is in the lobby at 1:25. I was like, this night is flying by.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
Because in my head, I was like, as it continues on and we see what happens, I'm like, they didn't get enough footage for an episode. They absolutely did.
Yeah. In the sublevel tunnels, it's 1:41 a.m.
Jeez.
Houston tells the group that he feels a lot of negative and dark energies, alluding to many, many spirits. Lance asks for any spirit there to show themselves and make a noise for them. Nothing happens, and in the night vision, Lance says that these tunnels seem like they go on forever. He comments that it stinks down here, but everyone turns around when they hear something in the tunnels behind them. Houston even says, no, seriously, what the fuck was that? And it's been established that we don't cuss on this show.
No, we do not.
So that was real.
Yeah.
They rush down the tunnel to find a door ajar. Lance asks TC to open it so that he can immediately catch what's on the other side with his camera.
But if he opens the
Yeah,
door,
you can still
TC
open
is
it.
right there looking inside.
I don't understand why he thought this would be the way to go, considering you see the cameraman's hand in the shot.
Yeah.
This is not going to work.
TC is reluctant, but finally pulls the door open after covering his hand with his sleeve before grabbing the knob. The door opens to reveal many rats, to everyone's disgust. Lance is clearly disappointed, but Sasha and Houston laugh at him, and he declares that this place is about as haunted as a sock drawer.
Two things. One, I feel as though this is the rat's house now, so you're really
Yeah. I was
You're
gonna say
being
they're
very
minding their own
rude.
business.
Exactly.
They
You're
were even in their
trespassing.
room.
Yes.
Yeah.
They weren't bothering you.
Nope.
Secondly, I feel like, and this is a weird thing because horror movies, I feel like have given me more appreciation and respect for rats. I feel like they get a bad rap.
They get a bad rat.
They get a bad rat
They do.
way too often, and honestly, they're kind of cute.
Some of them.
Some of them.
Even the ghosts don't bother them.
Yeah.
They're just vibing.
Yeah,
they're not
they're just
bothering
there.
They're just
anyone.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
I'm staying out of the way. I'm low to the ground.
Yeah.
You know what I
we
mean?
closed
Low to
the
the ground.
door. We closed the door behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't tell you to open that door.
No, we're busy in here.
In the control center in the lobby at 2:10 a.m., everyone is just vibing and listening to music. We cycle through the static cams in the hallways, the bathroom, and the window. While we're looking at the window, the feed begins to glitch, but then returns to normal.
That's pre-punting behavior if I've ever seen it.
We cut to Lance and Sasha in the shower area. Sasha is shining a light on glowing smudges of something on a tiled wall. Lance proposes to the audience that it could be residual ectoplasmic material discovered first by the Grave Encounters team.
Or it could be this place is fucking filthy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand. Why would
He's
we?
got to put his spin on it, man.
Yeah, ectoplasm. Look, I will say, is this the part where Sasha is doing her mean mug at the camera? When he's like, ectoplasmic
Oh,
material.
yeah.
She's good at that.
Yes, she is a vibe, and it's very funny to me. I really appreciate that.
He drops the act and tells TC behind the camera that he thinks they should do one more walkthrough upstairs. He tells TC to get some floaty B-roll in the hallways like they did at the Plainview mansion. TC does this, walking alone down the dark hallway and getting footage of the walls and the floors. He jokes about the checkerboard tile of the floor, but stops when he comes across a door missing a knob. After a beat, he jokes that it's a glory hole before entering what he calls the kitchen of the dead.
I know I said it earlier. I'm not going by myself.
Never.
Somebody
no.
is coming with me. You want these? Let's go.
And there's no reason why you can't come with me.
Yeah.
No.
What else is anybody doing?
Nothing.
They were getting some footage upstairs, but it's
All
like,
of
okay,
them?
we'll do the floaty hallway footage and then we'll go upstairs and
Yeah.
get one more walkthrough. Like, we're not splitting up.
We have
Have Matt
nobody
come with
watch?
me.
Yes.
Yeah. Nobody watched Scooby-Doo? Like,
Apparently
nobody?
not. And we have so many hours to get it done.
Yeah.
You know? And also, I will say I'm very glad that all of the audio from this B-roll will be cut out. Because he's
Yeah, he's doing a lot.
annoying as
Well,
hell.
I would be constantly talking to myself. If
Oh,
I'm in there
yeah.
alone,
That's true.
Yeah.
Just-
hopefully my voice drowns out any ghost noises that I might hear. I'm terrified.
Just
Or-
singing and shit.
Yeah.
Or they're like, oh man, he's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might leave them alone. Just
The ghost like a glory hole.
Yeah,
Shit,
right.
that's funny as hell.
fuck yeah. Just go by, dude. Go by.
We'll get the next guy.
Yeah. Right. Send your friend up here. You can go
You're
back.
cool. In another hallway, he finds a wheelchair sitting in the middle of the floor. He gets black and white footage of it, remarking that this is as creepy as it gets and wondering how they missed this. He says that Lance is going to love him and gets shots of it before his phone starts to ring. He sets the camera down, facing the chair as he answers the phone and paces in front of the camera. It's his partner on the phone, telling him that their young daughter is crying. TC tells her to put the daughter on the phone. He switches up to a sweet voice and tells his daughter that her mommy said she's afraid of monsters under the bed. He assures her that they've gone over this and monsters aren't real. And even if they were, they wouldn't be at their house because he'll take care of them.
This to me, I was like, okay, so we're setting up TC as the heart of this thing,
Yeah.
as the level-headed, compassionate person.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes.
But the wheelchair moves behind TC on its own as he tells his daughter that she has permission to sleep in bed with her mother tonight because he won't be back until morning. He promises to take her out for pizza tomorrow and gets off the phone. He picks the camera back up and heads to the showers where Lance and Sasha were, but they're gone. He remarks under his breath how cold it is in here, but suddenly the door slams behind him. Whew, it's cold in here. TC is pissed, running back into the hallway and yelling at whoever did it to cut this shit because he's not fucking playing. He reiterates that now is not the time for this, but there's no one there. He radios asking where everyone is. Later, TC shows Lance and Houston how solid the door is, saying that nothing short of a tornado is going to blow it closed. From behind the camera, Sasha asks how it moved, and TC admits that whatever did it scared the crap out of him. He explains what happened again, that he was taping, and when he turned around, the door slammed, and he thought it was them.
Did you see the banner in the lower third when he said a tornado? It was like tornado trackers on it.
Wednesdays at 9.
Like, you stuck in an ad? It wasn't there. That'd be funny, though.
Lance and Sasha, obviously not listening the first time he told them this, are thrilled to hear that he was taping. They watch the footage over, and Lance admits that this was actually creepy. TC takes this as an apology and accepts it. We cut to Lance, standing in front of the door and speaking to the audience about the footage captured by TC. He says again that the door slammed on its own and that there are no drafts or windows that could have caused it. With Houston beside him, he announces that they're going to try to make contact. Lance addresses the spirit, asking if it's here and if it can tap on something to announce itself. He invites it to slam the door again as hard as they like, but the spirit does not accept this invitation. Lance asks again for a sign and Houston chimes in, invoking it to make an appearance, but Lance is like, shh.
Yeah.
And starts again. I'm like, dude, what do you have him here for?
Yeah.
But
Well-
to me, this was him getting excited that something was actually happening.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, I don't need your fake shit. Like,
No.
I'm really trying to commune. You know what I mean?
He's being serious. And,
Yeah.
Houston is a problem.
He implores anyone here to give them a sign, but he abandons this, muttering disappointed that he really thought they were going to get something. Just as he says that, there's a loud bang outside of the door in the hallway. Sasha says that she's scared as they venture out to look for the source of the loud bang. In the hallway, there's a loud whirring sound. Lance, Houston, and Sasha head down the hall while TC follows behind them, videoing. They finally find the source. The gurney that was in the hallway is now overturned on its side, the wheels spinning so hard that it's causing that loud sound.
Now, I do want to real quick point out, this table's pretty new.
Yeah.
Like, are these
Nobody's been
ghosts
here
got
for
a
50
side
years.
hustle? Yeah. Where'd this table come from?
They were ahead of their time. They were like, Lance Preston. Houston presses his hand on the wheel and the whirring stops. It is spinning.
Yes.
Like, it looks creepy.
Yeah.
Sasha says that this is really fucked up, but everyone is distracted by a loud fluttering sound on the ceiling. Lance radios Matt, asking if there's anyone up on the 4th floor, but he says no. Houston says someone must be messing with them because they know they're shooting here. Despite TC asking why they're going up there, the crew climbs the stairs to the 4th floor. As they step into the hallway, Houston goes off. He yells at whoever is up here that they're going to call the police. They have a permit to be here, but whoever is messing with them does not.
I love how immediately the belief in the paranormal is just gone.
No,
Yeah.
someone's fucking
Yeah.
with us.
Yes, this is a person. This is a vandal of some kind.
Yeah.
He wrote that rap earlier in the hall.
Well,
I-
it's very loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like, isn't this exactly what you're here for?
No, yeah.
It
yeah.
is. TC tells him to lower his voice, but Sasha tells everyone to be quiet. She asks, what if this is something real? She turns on the recorder and asks into it, what's your name? What do you want? Are you in the room with us? Where are you? She rewinds and plays the recording back, but there are no answers until a high-pitched whining at the end. Lance asks what that is, and Sasha raises the recorder to her ear, trying to hear it better. As she does, and TC's camera is focused on her, her hair raises up on the side of her head as if someone lifted it.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
She screams and runs away. Everyone is freaked out, and TC assures them that he got it on tape. They run to Sasha, who is crying on the stairs. She says that someone just touched and breathed on her, and she just wants to leave and go back to the lobby. Lance tells them all to just wait a second. They've been shooting the show for 5 episodes now, and they've never seen anything like that before. Sasha says that she doesn't care anything about that. She just wants to get out of here. Lance instructs Houston to get Sasha down to the lobby and come right back. Houston's like, I think I'm going to stay down there. Do you remember I'm a fake psychic?
Yeah.
You don't need me for this.
Now, I would love, you know what I mean, something to happen, see a ghost, whatever, or something.
Absolutely.
But if this, I need 10 minutes.
Yes.
Give
you were
me a second.
touched.
Yeah.
Physically touched.
Please, like, okay, we've done 5 episodes. Yeah, I'm excited too.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 10 minutes if you want me to go with you.
Literally.
Like, for real.
One thing I will say is they're sacrificing a lot of footage by using so much profanity.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's-
I'm sure they could edit their voices out.
Yeah, but I mean, there's plenty of time. I would want a genuine reaction with audio on there instead of it being like, and
Then I could just beep, beep, beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep, beep.
I feel like if there's one thing with found footage that kind of gets under my skin, is that the thing?
Yes.
Okay. And I just curse. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think there's a difference between when I curse and when they do it in the film because it's me. But
Yeah, exactly.
No.
We just talked on Talk Mortem about how you have a tendency to use fucking as a placeholder.
I do, and
that's
it's-
all they're doing.
no, look, but here's the thing.
That's me.
You didn't hear me the first time. No, I think my thing about it is it becomes almost like a trope in found footage horror. You're gonna get a lot of shaky cam, which is it's par for the course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you're signing up
either,
for.
You're either in or you're out. But there is so much use of the fuck word that it becomes annoying.
To me, I always chalk
I
that up
didn't
to.
notice that. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
Yeah.
I always chalk it up to, and this film is no different. They left a lot of room for improvisation.
They did,
Okay.
but I mean,
I think that's what it comes down to. If you don't have a set thing that you're supposed to say,
but again,
I feel like that's a natural reaction. I
way-
see that. Fuck.
yeah,
Like,
but
that's literally
that's fine. That's fine.
fucking fuck.
No, that's not.
Yeah, but I was going to say
Yeah.
too much. Yeah.
Exactly.
I
And
understand.
it
I
makes
get
it to
that.
where it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
And I would like big reactions, but when TC was talking, he's like, and then the fucking door, and then I was fucking here, and then fucking over there, the fucking thing. I was like,
Yeah.
we got it, dude.
Yeah.
We got it.
Throw
Maybe,
a shit in there.
Yeah. Maybe
It's
you
a
do
bit
need a
much.
script then.
Yeah.
Because fuck.
Yeah.
You're relying on that a lot.
Yeah.
But Lance yells at Houston to be a fucking professional and just stay in character. He says that they're onto something here and asks Houston not to do this to him. Houston tells him that he will come back. TC tries to hit the old dusty trail, but Lance tells him that he's with him. Despite TC's protestations, Lance says that if they can catch this on film, they'll all make millions. So they're probably looking beyond grave encounters at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fuck doesn't matter.
To me, okay, I thought because we had almost like a character arc a little bit.
Yeah.
You have it start with Sasha asking him if he thinks they'll see anything. It's like, it'd be cool, whatever. And then we're finally getting some stuff, and he's silencing Houston's bullshit
Yeah.
to be like, no, this is
For real, yeah.
Let's do this. And then he goes all Gale Weathers.
Money, money.
You know what that'll do for my book sales?
Yeah.
So, I mean, all right.
But we cut to Lance addressing the audience in the hallway. He says that they've captured undeniable proof of the paranormal. A ghost actually manipulated Sasha's hair, scaring her to the bone.
Can we talk about how funny it is to say manipulated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, you were really trying to shush that up.
Yeah, he's just always on.
He stands next to Houston, who he says is going to try to make contact. Houston does, imploring whatever spirit resides in this hallway to give them a sign and manifest themselves. Lance asks for a sign or a noise. He invites the spirit to manipulate his hair, even shining the light on his own head. That made me
Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah.
He's like, I know you like that. You do it right now.
We've seen you do it.
After a moment, with TC demanding that they not invite a spirit to do the same to him, there is nothing, and Lance admits that he thinks it's gone. Houston agrees. It had its fun, played its prank, and ran off. Maybe that's just what they do.
ghosts?
Yeah, I guess.
They're like, Lance continues down the hallway, antagonizing whatever is here and asking if it's scared. Houston only adds to this frustration by telling Lance that he's sensing that it's gone. But Lance is like, that's enough. Give it a rest.
Because he's over it.
But like, you told me to stay in character.
Yeah,
he
you're not
did.
being a very good host.
No, not at all. And see, that's why I'm like, Lance is kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Lance takes out the camera and begins to take pictures. We see the developed pictures that none of them were able to see at that time. There are orbs in the hallway, a ghostly smudge, and both an orb next to TC in the photo of him and a strange white smudge in the window behind him.
So I will say for me, orbs, you can kind of lose me with orbs. It's a very dusty building. But the fucking
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That thing, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy this, and I don't mind orbs too much, just not if it's like one single one. It's like, come on. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's dust.
No, they were
But
they were
there's
present
a lot,
in these.
and
Yeah.
then there's fucking arms and shit, and I was like,
Yeah, that's
oh.
true.
I was like, this works.
I will
Yeah.
I will admit I haven't done enough research on orbs.
I don't like him.
I don't like them. It's just on sight.
He asks TC what time it is, and TC says that it's 4:40 and he wants to go home. This night, I was like, this is going too fast.
Yeah. With how much movie we have left?
Yeah. He asks what time Kenny is coming back, but Lance just says that they have enough footage. He proposes that they pack everything up and leave. TC is happy. We watch through Lance's night vision cam as he follows TC and Houston down the dark hallways. When they come to what they call another dead end, they realize that they're going the wrong way and turn back around. In another hallway, TC proposes that they're lost, but Lance insists that they're not. I think somebody kicked the fucking map into the creek.
Yeah.
He then gets on the radio and calls out to Matt, admitting that they are, in fact, lost. It was funny because he's like, no, we're not. Matt, we are lost. We're fucked. But Matt doesn't answer. Lance and TC begin to fight over which direction they're supposed to be going. Houston points out that the room with the bathtub is just up ahead, but TC is adamant that that is not the tub they saw and not the way they came. He's fed up. He sits down against the wall, asking for confirmation that Kenny is coming at 6 o'clock, making it very clear that he intends to spend the rest of the night right here. At 4:51 in the lobby, Sasha and Matt sit on opposite sides of the room. Matt finally breaks the silence, asking where the rest of the crew is. Finally, the beams of flashlights appear around the corner, and Lance, TC, and Houston walk into the room. At first, I was like, that's not them. Because the fact that they're like, we're lost.
Yeah.
I'm not moving from this spot. And then they're like, oh, hey, guys.
Hey, guys,
I was
yeah.
like, what the fuck?
That was very weird because he was under the tree with the vines.
Exactly.
And then now I'm
They're
not,
just fine, and they're back.
I'm not saying I would have liked more because we know what they found their way, but at the same time that does set up for
It's-
a pretty interesting scenario.
Yeah.
It's just back to back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, but it's fine. It's Matt asks them why they hadn't been answering him, trying to reach them on the radio, but they never heard him and he never heard them. TC goes and tries the front door again to find that it's still locked. He tells Lance that this is why you don't lock the door, and he's 1,000% right.
So my question is this their gimmick? Have they all because okay, this is why I asked.
I don't
this.
think so.
You've done 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You've obviously done it with the same crew.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, oh, the new guy, whatever.
Yeah.
So why now are we locking ourselves in? Because TC was surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like if that's your gimmick and you just do it every time.
The fact that TC is surprised is what makes me think that they don't do this.
Exactly. So it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Maybe
Yeah.
they don't typically, because they were like, for 8 hours, blah, blah. Maybe they don't normally spend the night. And so they're like, we're going to spend the night, we're going to lock. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a very bad idea.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about it.
I want to see the previous 5 episodes of Grave Encounters.
Yes. Matt watches the footage of Sasha's hair being manipulated and reacts strongly. Sasha still hasn't said a word. Matt jumps up and wants to immediately transfer everything to the computer, but Lance says that they don't have time for that. He tells everyone to get up and start packing their equipment so that they're ready to go when Kenny comes back. Armed with his bags and a flashlight on his head, Matt asks if there's anyone that can go with him to go get the static cams. Lance tells him no.
Why?
He needs everyone down here.
Why?
fuck those cameras then.
Yeah. I
What the
know.
footage that we have, we'll buy more.
Uh-huh.
Literally,
Yeah.
or you can go get them if you're
Yeah.
so concerned about them, or we can wait till Kenny gets back and we'll all go get
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
I'm not fucking going in there.
He already said that it wirelessly downloads.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Absolutely
Let's
not.
go in there when it's morning.
Yeah.
But Matt leaves, assuring them that he has his walkie. They test it to make sure it works before Matt walks out of frame, imploring them to wait for him and not leave without him. I know that they did test it before he left, but it's just been proven that those do not work
Yeah.
when you're deep in the hospital.
The last conversation we had about the walkies.
Literally. Why weren't you answering me? I didn't hear you.
Interesting.
Yeah. Matt makes his way to the static cams, and we watch as he disconnects and takes down the first one, declaring that it's time to get the fuck out of here. In the bathroom, he anxiously looks behind him at the tubs as he takes that one down. When he approaches the static cam by the window, he is stopped in his tracks when he finds the window to be open.
What?
What? He closes it and then radios Lance, announcing that he got something up here, but surprise, surprise, no one answers him. He hears something down the dark hall behind him and calls out, thinking that it's Lance. It's not.
Why now?
Lance made it clear.
He's not here to help.
Nobody's going to help you.
He didn't have a change of heart.
That's something that kind of annoyed me.
Yes.
I was like, come on, dude.
Lance?
I think
None of them looked like they wanted to fucking help you at all.
no. And there is a thing that happens in horror movies that kind of like it gets a little annoying, but it's always hilarious to me when you hear shit and you hear
It's
like
Yeah.
oh Lance,
Yeah.
is that you, buddy?
When has Lance ever hissed at
He's
you?
never done that. This isn't a new thing he's trying. That's a demon. Like,
Right.
I don't know what to tell you.
Matt steps out into the hallway and quietly walks out of frame. The camera slightly glitches before we join Lance and the rest of the crew down in the lobby. It's 5:32 a.m. and TC films Lance standing in front of the front door. He tells the audience that there has been no activity in the last hours. Matt's been gone for a fucking hour.
Can I also say that that's a really bad sign off?
Yeah.
Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Like, that's so weird.
For
It's a
everything
little strange.
that you've experienced so far.
Yeah. It just went dead.
Bye.
Well, we're still here, so.
But he signs off for Grave Encounters. I'm Lance Preston. He wants to do the sign off again, and despite TC not wanting to, he does. He's like, that's all I got. TC tells him that it doesn't matter anyway. They can always get it tomorrow when there's better lighting. As they start to gather their things, Lance finally asks where Matt is and why he's taking so long. He radios to Matt, annoyed when he doesn't get an answer, but Sasha reminds him that the radios weren't working before. She admits that this is going to sound stupid, and she's the last one that wants to go out into the halls again, but it's pitch black in there. Matt could have fallen and hurt himself. She insists that they go and look for him. Lance says that this is ridiculous, but he resolves to go. He tells TC and Sasha to grab their cameras, though, because if they're doing this, they might as well film everything. Sasha and TC follow behind Lance as he ventures back into the darkness, TC shooting a sarcastic thank you to Houston for his help. Houston just continues to sit in a chair, not joining them, and telling TC that it's not easy sitting here by himself either.
Okay, so then don't do it.
Yeah. No shit.
Nobody.
He's like, I got a lot on my plate right now.
My legs are crossed.
Yeah, nobody's having a great time, okay? Lance, Sasha, and TC roam the hallways looking for Matt, calling his name over and over. The stakes are raised, though, when they come to Matt's camera equipment strewn all over the hallway. Tripods and the cameras themselves are just abandoned. Lance assumes this to mean that Matt is nearby, and he instructs Sasha and TC to go searching in opposite directions.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would you ever split up?
Sasha objects that it's a terrible idea to split up, so Lance relents, telling Sasha to come with him, but still sending TC off on his own.
Why? She's like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Why? We'll go down that way. We'll turn around and come back this
And
way.
then yeah.
Yeah, this is another reason why Houston should have come up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least have a person with TC.
Oh yeah.
TC continues down the hall by himself looking for Matt. He calls out to the other two to look for cigarette butts to zero in on Matt's trail. That's smart.
Yeah.
He comments to himself in the camera that he doesn't understand Matt. He climbs the stairs, telling Matt that he's going to get him in trouble with his girl because it's late. And at this point, Matt better be dead or dying. He starts to get angry, demanding that Matt tell him where he is. But he's interrupted when he hears something on the stairs behind him. He calls Matt's name again, but when his back is turned, something pushes him down the stairs.
First of all, how bad would you feel if you're like, you better be dead or dying, dude, and he's just
And
like,
he's dead or dying.
a ghost stabbed me or whatever. So, I mean, how bad?
Yeah, don't ever say shit like that.
No, be like, we're worried about you, man. You're our friend and we love you. Say that.
Just tell us where you are, Matt. The camera hits the ground and we watch TC whimpering as he eats it.
He does.
Yeah.
He calls out to Lance and Sasha and they rush to him immediately, asking what happened. Lance asks him if he fell down the stairs as they lift TC to his feet, but he swears that someone did this. He did not fall. We cut to them in the lobby at 6:19 a.m. where TC asserts that he was pushed. He yells that when he turned around to look for Matt, he was pushed and he almost broke his neck. He rationalizes with Lance. Things have been fucking with them all night and getting violent. He tells him to call Kenny right now, pulling a Julie James and asking, "What are you waiting for?"
Well, I mean, what
Yeah.
are you waiting
Literally,
for?
and it's after 6.
Yeah, and I bet this is that same fucking ghost that pushed that dude off the ladder. You
Yeah,
son of a
rude
bitch.
ass.
Yeah.
Why? Get
Workers' comp.
Get a new trick.
Lance is annoyed, but he takes out his phone. I don't know why he's annoyed.
Yeah.
He should be annoyed at Kenny.
Yes,
He's Lance is very chill for what's going on right now.
he really is.
Yeah, because it's beyond
Yeah.
already.
Oh yeah.
TC starts to hit the door and Lance raises his phone. He can't get a signal. TC takes the phone away from him to try it, but he can't get one either. He yells out that this is fucking perfect.
It's kind of bonkers because if I'm not mistaken, isn't he standing in the exact same spot where he called Kenny earlier?
Yeah, I think he is.
So there is service
It was
here.
in the lobby
Yeah.
for sure.
So
Okay, that makes sense why he had him call him earlier then, because he's like, I was on with Kenny.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. You're embarrassing me.
He wheels a gurney into the lobby and sets it up toward the front door. Lance asks what he's doing, despite it being very obvious. TC asks him for his help, but Lance says that they're going to damage the property and he'll be liable for it. He tells him to be patient and wait, but TC takes off running with the gurney and slams into the door.
Is this the brand new gurney that JP was talking about?
It's strong. It's well built. Lance threatens him with the fact that that's going to come out of his pay, but TC does not give a fuck.
Dude, no.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No, and no, it's not going to come out of my pay.
Yeah, no shit.
Because I'm being paid overtime.
yeah.
Literally.
And this was your idea.
Yes.
I'm going to own Grave Encounters by the time this is done. Lance stands up for this confrontation, aiming his camera at TC. TC says that he just wants to go back to the hotel and sleep. Kenny is a no-show, over an hour late at this point. He smacks the camera out of his face. He's like, "You're still doing your documentary thing, man."
That's
No,
your
but-
motivation.
No, but Lance finally puts the camera down to help him with the gurney.
Kenny's an hour late. He's supposed to rescue us.
There's your motivation. Houston offers to help, but Lance tells him no. It's like, you weren't going to help anyway.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Houston has not got enough.
I know you didn't mean me.
Yeah.
We watch through Lance's camera and the static cam as Lance and TC bring the gurney back again and again, slamming it into the door. Finally, the door is forced open, but Lance and TC stop dead in their tracks. They back up, TC saying that this is the lobby. Lance asks for confirmation that they came in this way, and he gets it. Sasha simply says that this can't be right, and Houston remarks that it's impossible. Lance finally picks up his camera, and our view from the floor changes as we see what's on the other side of the front door. Another hallway.
Love this.
Yeah.
The first time I saw this, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a whole, like, this is,
Yeah.
The reconfiguring of the geography
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
by ghosts. That's
What happens in a minute, it makes it even like, oh no, like,
Yes.
this sucks.
This sucks.
Wow, first of all,
Man.
yeah,
that's a bummer, dude.
This sucks.
well, we've used up all the fucks.
Yeah, that's true.
We got no more.
Thank God. Let's
Yeah,
let's get some new things here. New shit.
Houston picks up the chain that was on the front door of the building, now dropped in the dark hallway. He offers that they must have gotten turned around and they must be on the other side of the building now. Sasha fearfully calls Lance's name as she closes the door that they just broke into. On the other side of the door, in the newly found hallway, are the spray painted words, "Death awaits."
All right, let's pack it up.
Literally.
Yeah.
Lance asks if these are the same doors and no one answers, but they don't need to.
I feel like, and I'm not saying that I'm the type that would just give up, but I don't know what you expect me to do
I
from
would
here.
literally, I think I would lay down in the hallway and just cry.
Like-
what can you do? The building moved.
Yes.
yeah.
It's not even that we're dealing with the confines of reality of the door being locked, of Kenny being late. The building is changing.
And the fact that
Oh no, yeah.
it's not even like we all left and wandered away. Matt stayed. He set up a control center. We
Yeah.
know that this was the lobby.
Yes.
It's not like we met somewhere else and got turned around. This is the lobby. This
Let's
is where we came in.
All go to the lobby.
yeah.
Let's try this again. I would shut the doors and be like, oh, there was a glitch or something.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, let's try one more
Right
time.
when we open it.
Yeah. Kenny's like, hey, guys.
Phew.
Yeah.
I'm glad we turned it off and turned it on. They go further down the hall and find a door marked emergency exit. TC tries to open it, but it doesn't budge. He tries to kick it down, and when Lance cautions him to be careful, he snaps at him for spectating instead of helping. So Lance does help. The two of them kick the door open to reveal another hallway.
All right. I know I said pack it up earlier, but
Now for real.
for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's lay down. Let's cry.
I'd probably throw up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Or at least just a little in my mouth.
Yeah.
I was like,
No,
oh,
we're
where-
throwing
yeah.
up.
Yeah, I know Nay would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. TC is the only one reacting appropriately, clearly devastated, and pointing out that the sign above the door says emergency. I'm sorry, because Houston, this is really funny. He points out that the sign above the door said emergency exit. Houston offers maybe they mean it's this way to the emergency exit.
Houston.
TC goes, Houston, shut the fuck up.
Well, I don't think that's how that works.
You
No.
know that's not what that
Look,
means.
I love that you're
And
maintaining
you still got
He's
some hope.
trying. Yeah.
some kind of
And I
optimism.
love that for you.
But we're dead, Houston.
Yeah.
This is just what it is.
They come to a window with a grate over it. It's like bars. TC tries to pull it off, and when it doesn't budge, he slams his shoulder against it multiple times to loosen it. It doesn't loosen.
Well, they flipped the switch. If he was going to die, they're all going to die.
Yeah.
You're right. Funky old house, ain't it? But he comes to the conclusion that they're trapped in here. Lance proposes that they just get a tool and try to pry it off. And TC says that he does have a tool belt, but it's in the van outside.
Yeah, no, we're definitely trapped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
done.
And I do find it, I don't know why, but I know that this building has been closed down, but we really need these bars still. Like, we don't want to have just more than one exit
Yeah.
the
to the
building
entire
likes it.
building.
Yeah.
No, leave them. That's the building. I don't know
I
why.
feel safe. Lance says that not all of the windows have bars on them, citing the one upstairs. But Houston says that that's an 80-foot drop. Lance asks Sasha what time it is, and it's 8:34. This is a good time to point out that they're all standing next to windows, and it is pitch black outside.
Yes.
Fighting ensues, and Lance breaks it up, saying that this isn't right. He checked sunrise times last night, and it should have been bright outside by 7:45. This renders everyone speechless for a moment. Then, from a camera set on the floor, we watch as Sasha, TC, and Lance all try to pull bars off of the windows, yelling. Houston tries to offer an explanation. This is an old building with possible electric anomalies. Maybe it moved their clocks faster and it's not actually 8:30, it's actually 6:30. And that's why it's so dark outside and why Kenny hasn't shown up yet. Kenny's still late.
No, he's still late.
Yeah.
But I will say that's a decent idea.
Yeah.
I've heard worse theories.
Yeah.
Still wrong,
Yeah, he's
No,
still
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
but he's still maintaining some hope.
He's trying.
He's doing his
He
best.
is. TC's not trying to hear this, though, and asks him to come up with something rational, but Houston maintains that this is just as rational as anything else. We cut to the lobby where Sasha lays on the floor and Houston sits in a chair. Lance stands in the middle of the room alone before sitting down and setting up a camera on himself. This made me think of, I'm sorry to Josh's mom.
Absolutely. I literally wrote in my notes, I'm sorry to Matt's mom
Yeah.
and Sasha's mom and my mom.
Less not, though, which
Yeah.
I do appreciate.
We're all going to die in here.
Well, I mean, they are.
They are. And I'm sorry again. I said it on episode 50, but Heather Donahue, ladies. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
ladies. Just the ladies. This is just for ladies. No, everyone. Everyone. Heather Donahue is a fucking national treasure. And
No, she's great.
I
Yeah.
think she deserves the world.
She does. And the world did her dirty after that movie.
Yeah.
She gave us everything.
Yes. I hope you're listening, Heather. We love you.
But Lance tells the camera that he checked his phone and it says that it's 1:12 p.m.
You know, the irony of it being 112 is
Peaches
that
and cream.
things are not peaches and cream.
Ah!
I didn't expect to be making all these music references.
He shows the phone to the camera as proof and says that he doesn't think that's right because it just can't be. He says that everyone is tired, so they're taking a break to have a nap and they're all just going to wait until Kenny shows up. Although he admits that he doesn't know when he's coming. He says that none of this makes sense and it's compounded by the fact that he hasn't slept in 20 hours. He says he's going to set an alarm for an hour and take a nap himself.
So I do want to say a scene ago, TC.
Yeah,
What
that's what I
the
was talking
hell?
about earlier when I was like, that was real disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I was saying, because I thought what they were setting up with his arc is when he was being so caring
Yeah.
on the phone.
No, he was dropping some slurs and
Yeah.
some hurtful language.
Yeah.
He lost me. He can get it. He can get it from the ghost from here on out.
Get it?
I was
No.
gonna say he can't get none from me.
Well, that's
Get it from the
That's
ghost.
not what I meant. All I'm saying is I learned that TC stands for this cretin. That's all I wanted to say. But yeah, the ghost can murder him. I'm fine.
Yeah. We see static cam footage of all of them lying on different parts of the floor, except for Houston, who still sits in that chair.
yeah.
But they're all napping. Everything is silent for a moment as we alternate between different cams. But the silence is broken when, unprovoked, one of the huge lights falls, crashing to the floor. The room is dark now, and everyone wakes up horrified.
I hate TC in this moment because after it crashes, everybody wakes up screaming. TC says, Houston, what's your problem? That's not a noise he made. That was a ghost shattering your only light.
What's funny, too, is Houston was not even close to that light.
No, he didn't kick it in his sleep.
No.
Like,
Yeah. Why?
If anyone, I think Sasha was by it. It would
Yeah.
have been her.
I don't, and
No,
you can't even
yeah.
see anything. It's
I
pitch
think
black.
He's just still mad at Houston.
For what? For what?
Yeah. What
We're
do you
trying
do?
to like introduce. Maybe it's really 620. Maybe they mean this way to the emergency.
Yeah.
That was a little. That was far. That
It
was a little too
was,
far.
but he's trying to keep hope alive.
He's trying, man. Lance turns the camera on again and says that someone or something broke their lights. All they have for light now are their flashlights and the lights on their cameras. He says that he checked the time on his phone again and it's 8 p.m. It made me laugh because he was like, I'm going to set an alarm to sleep for 1 hour. And then he goes, we all slept for 7 hours.
Yeah.
Your body needed it, dude. That's,
Yeah.
I mean,
He tells the camera that TC went to go get a sandwich and that we need to see this. He opens a cooler and inside, the food, sandwiches, and apples are all rotten and covered in maggots. TC yells at him to close it because it stinks, and Lance does. He says that all the food is ruined, but they still have a lot of bottled water.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think I would trust the water.
Yeah.
Like, that could be anything at this point.
Yeah, so what happens? Because the food, it just gets stale?
I don't, well, that's, I think we're
A
beyond.
little pastel.
No, the water, not the food.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
We've seen the
I
food.
was like,
Yeah.
I saw maggots.
It's like the water is like lost all, like, tastes
What
a little,
is this?
I don't know. It's not bad, but
Yeah,
it's just like,
it's okay.
not the
yeah,
best.
I think it's
It's
Dasani.
room temp. Gross.
I just shit talk Dasani and I drink it. Like,
I know it's popular to hate Dasani.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Anyway,
I take it back. I'm sorry. I'm going to be a Dasani defender
good for you.
from now on. I like Fiji better, but
Smart water.
excuse
too.
me, Fuji water. Fiji's the apple. Or am I no, I'm right. Let's move on. Just move on, dude.
Water is good.
Yes.
Drink water.
Yes.
You heard it first
Yes.
here, folks.
Yes. And if you haven't had any today,
Go drink some right now.
yes, 8 glasses in one go.
But they all sit together as TC paces, and Lance proposes that they should go down into the tunnels. It connects all of the buildings, and maybe they can find a way out in one of them. I think that going into the tunnels, that is the worst place you want to be.
Yeah.
But he's right.
It
I appreciated that there was a reason to go back down there because it was the scariest fucking place in the building.
was.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course that's going to be the way out.
Yeah, because Kenny even said that he was going down there to go to another wing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so there is a way out, conceivably.
I have to be honest
But I
though.
don't want to go down
Yeah.
there.
No. I feel like my hope for any plan would kind of go out the window
Right.
when I realized that opening a door that I've opened before.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't
Leads
take you where
me-
it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So these tunnels are now 1,000 miles long.
Yeah, oh, no, yeah.
Yeah.
They're done.
Yeah.
We don't need to go down there.
No.
And on the cool, that the stand for the light broke. Just take the bottom and the top off of it. You got a pole right there. Let's try to pry some of those window covers
Yeah,
off.
you're
Yeah, no
right.
shit.
I mean, I don't want to go down that tunnel.
Look,
Fuck that.
Yeah,
we'll not split up exactly, but we'll have a couple people go down in the tunnel. I think
That is splitting up, but go on.
maggots are protein. They
Ew.
probably soften the apple enough to where my teeth could eat it. And then, we'll figure it out.
You can figure that out. I just
I
wanted to
feel
say
like nobody likes my plan.
I just wanted to say that I'm never going to go in a place where I could potentially be trapped forever and ever without you, because I'd be crying on the floor and you're like, no, we can make a tool out of this.
Yeah, oh, no.
I'm just like, we're
We're
dead.
not going to the tunnels. That's just not happening.
Meanwhile, I'm just eating a maggot infested
John
apple.
Paul's like, I see it's up to me.
Yeah, I'm like, God damn it.
I'm going to be the one to get us out of
I don't want to stay in it.
I'm grateful for you.
Thank you, JP.
TC is firm that he is not going in a tunnel. He says if their lights go out, they're fucked. He reminds Lance that he told him to put the time lapse outside, and when he did, he saw a fire escape. He proposes that they get to the roof and climb down that way. But again, there's a spirit in here who likes to push people
Yeah.
off of high things. I
Yes.
would be scared to do that.
No, I'm sorry. Even if that's the only plan, the only way out, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm so scared.
Yeah, there's no way.
Like, because they said from that window it was like an 80-foot drop,
Oh,
and the
fuck
fire escape
that.
is like on the roof, right?
Yeah, fuck it.
Oh my God.
No.
That hurts my stomach just thinking about it. But Houston says he doesn't care what they do as long as they get out of here. Lance is sold and tells them to pack up all the gear and go. We cut to them in the hallway and they're clearly lost. Lance tells TC that he said he knew where the ladder was, but TC said that he only knew that there was a ladder and not to put that on him. He didn't say he knew where the ladder was.
Lance gets really annoying in this section.
Yeah.
Because he's like, TC, you said you built this building or whatever. Like he's so adamant that TC
does.
knows everything.
And once again, even if TC knew where it was, shit is moving around.
Yeah.
We knew where the front door was. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, so whatever.
Lance asked if it's in the direction that they're going, but TC doesn't have an answer. He only saw it from the outside. They hear something behind them and turn to look and call out, but they see nothing. Lance finally finds a staircase and they all head up. TC pushes his way to the front and rejoices when he sees a sign that reads roof access. He turns and looks up at the top of the stairs to find just a wall, just a dead end, no doors. He hands his camera over and goes to hit the wall, declaring it to be solid before collapsing onto the stairs in tears. It really felt like the building, whatever, knew that they were looking for the roof and were like, nah.
Yeah.
Like it felt like 1408 when
Yes.
that thing's like, you
Oh,
are here.
yeah.
Like it felt very playful. Like, yeah, right this way. Psych. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe don't say your plans out loud.
Yeah.
How about that?
Just text each other.
Yeah. Like the roof. Got it.
Yeah.
One thing I did learn, I read in an interview in Screen Anarchy,
All right.
the directors said that they wrote everything for the film as far as the screenplay is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
There are those little moments of improvisation, which is probably where we're getting all the fuck words.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is that this scene was held from the actors. They knew they were going to round the corner and see something,
Yeah.
but they didn't know that it was going to be a brick wall like this.
Oh, wow.
That's so upsetting.
Yeah.
Like,
And so their reaction is in the moment.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
they,
really cool.
They basically Blair Witched them.
yeah.
That's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
They continue down the hallway again, Sasha audibly sobbing. As TC yells in the background, Lance turns the camera on himself and reports that they just left the stairwell that was sealed at the top. He says he's going to document everything because people are going to want to see it when they get out of here.
So clear reason to keep filming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate it.
They come to a map on the wall and consult it. Despite the fact that they climbed 4 flights of steps, the map reports that they're on the first floor, only a bit down the hall from the lobby where they came in.
We're dead, dude. Like that's
Yeah.
That's it.
Sorry.
What do you
Sorry.
say? Back it up.
yeah, back it up. We're done.
Sasha looks up at TC's camera behind her and asks if he's filming this. The camera focuses on the compass in her hand, which is going absolutely wild. They continue down a hallway, but stop when they hear someone screaming. Lance shushes everyone to listen clearer, but the screaming continues. They start to call out to Matt, frantically running down the hall as the screaming gets louder and more desperate. But when they run into one of the rooms, they find it empty and the screaming stops. As Lance stands in the middle of the room, the bed scoots toward him on its own before literally floating into the air and whipping around.
What do we do, dude? Like,
Yeah.
there comes a point.
Back
where-
out.
Oh, I didn't know this was occupied.
Yeah, it seems you're busy. Yeah.
Very sorry. Everyone screams and runs out. The camera's glitching as they make their escape. The camera cuts, and when it comes back up, everyone is sitting silently, looking pretty rough. Lance turns the camera on himself and explains that they went looking for another stairwell, but they couldn't find one because the building is a maze. He quotes TC, saying that the building keeps changing all around them. He admits that they couldn't find Matt and they don't even know if he's okay. He says that they're all tired and hungry, so they're going to try to sleep. But this time, they're sleeping in shifts so that someone can stay watch at all times. The camera cuts.
He's like 1 hour.
Yeah. 7 tops, like max 7. When the camera comes back up, Lance says that they all just woke up, but we need to see this. He turns the camera towards Sasha, who sits with her back to us, but turns to tell Lance and TC to turn the fucking camera off. Lance says that they have to document this, and Sasha is too distracted by her own pain to offer another objection. He raises up Sasha's shirt, and there, on her back, in deep scratches, is the word hello.
I mean, it's a friendly message. There could have been worse.
Well, she was the one saying hello to them.
That
so
is true.
They're like, hey, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, but can I get a note? Or like on
Yeah.
the wall? You don't got to use my skin.
You know, I had the tape recorder, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
know, right? Yeah.
That's what we
You
were.
had a chance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Houston gently blots the cuts on her back, and TC tells her that they have to document this because there's no way that someone came in here and did that with all of them in here. He says it really sweet,
Uh-huh.
which I was glad because he's been kind of a loose cannon. But disturbed, Lance tells TC to cut, and he does. When the camera comes back up, Lance is repeatedly reaching out to Matt on the radio. Finally, he gets a response, a whisper of static, and a very light hello. I don't like that word anymore.
No.
I'm not sure that this is Matt.
We've learned who uses that word.
Yeah.
He asks Matt if he's okay and if he can hear him, and he only gets breathing in return.
At some point during this call,
Call.
I don't know if we can call it that. There is a clear demonic noise
Yeah.
And Lance is like, Matt? Again, it's
Hey,
like,
buddy.
that's not your friend anymore,
Yeah.
man. Something's gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, if that's what he sounds like.
Yeah.
Nah.
Either he needs to clear his throat or he needs to,
Yeah.
because it's too much.
He asks Matt to tell them where he is and they'll go get him, but Matt doesn't respond anymore. Sasha says that they have to go find him, but Houston reminds her that they can't even find the front door. They leave the room and head into a bathroom, calling out to Matt. TC tells Sasha to try all the channels on the radio because the range on it isn't far. When pressed by Lance, he guesses that 200 to 300 yards away would get them a clear signal. They venture out into the hallway again, turning around when they come to a dead end. They continue, though, calling out to Matt, but not finding any sign of him either physically or on the radio. TC stands in the middle of the hallway and announces that this is pointless. As he tries to explain more about the range of the walkie, someone straight up runs across the hall behind him.
Too fast.
They all assume it to be Matt and run after him, screaming his name. They end up in a bathroom, and it's clear that the person that they were chasing after is not Matt. Someone stands in the corner, though, with their back to the crew.
Excuse me, ma'am. Have you seen
Our friend Matt?
All right, let me pull up a picture so you
Yeah.
get a better
Yeah.
idea.
He was
He's about-
probably smoking.
He's about yay high.
Probably slipping on the ground. But the person has long hair and they're wearing nothing but a hospital gown. She turns around to look at them, but just a brief second after she does, her face distorts demonically, her mouth and eyes growing impossibly large. This is Demon Girl, played by Ava Gifford.
Well, Demon Girl was just hanging out. They went and bothered her.
Yeah?
This is the rats all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest, this is a very iconic moment in the film.
Mm-hmm.
It's very clearly CG done.
Yeah.
I think they said the Vicious Brothers handled the special effects of the film as well.
Or maybe they did it all
Really?
Yeah.
with lighting, like in The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Maybe. Well, I think.
Right, guys?
Sure. Don't take us back there.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it looks fine in the context of the film.
Mm-hmm.
There is one later that does not look as good.
It doesn't look as
No.
good. But I feel like after a certain point, and we're getting to that point, it's just mayhem. It's just wild. Like they're not trying to be like, oh, it's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're doing scares, we're doing fun, it's,
I will say it is not what you expect from a found footage film,
no.
because they're like, we're going to show you everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we talked about at the top.
Well, I think it's more of a, I'm not here to tell you a tell. You're just here to survive.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's
Yeah.
just try
Yeah.
to make it through the night.
I mean, we've got the backstory of the building. We
Yeah.
don't need that. That was the work, you know?
Yeah.
Now
That was
just
it.
sit down and enjoy.
It's the ride.
Yeah. But the crew screams, understandably, and runs out of the room. Back down the hallway, everyone panicking and screaming. Lance and Sasha run into a closet and slam the door as soon as TC runs inside. They turn their lights off, trying to hide from the demon girl. In the pitch black, we hear demonic moaning and groans on the other side of the door. When the sounds dissipate, Lance says, "Oh shit, we lost him. We fucking lost Houston."
I was the way that they all ran in together and just closed the door. I thought of Diane in Shaun of the Dead when she's like, "Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes."
Yeah.
All right. It's like, how can you forget a whole ass
I
human being? Like, he's part of your crew.
Yeah.
He's your friend. That's unbelievable.
Well, you know.
A whole ass person.
It is.
It's so unfair.
He has a life. He's been the fucking hope of
Yeah.
And he said he had a gig tomorrow too.
the. He did an audition.
It's sad. But from a night vision static cam in the hallway, we see Houston wandering alone, calling out to Lance. His flashlight flickers before giving out completely. He calls out to Sasha and TC as he stumbles over an abandoned wheelchair. Down the hall, a door silently opens, but closes again when he gets close to it. Moving along the wall, Houston makes a turn and continues farther down. When there is a loud breathing behind him, he turns but continues forward. He calls out to the rest of the crew, but suddenly something invisible lifts him by his throat. He is well above the ground, groaning, kicking his legs, and trying to fight the invisible force. It finally drops him to the ground, but as soon as he calls out for help and is still struggling to get to his feet, there's an explosion of light and Houston is launched down the hall. He lands hard and remains there, motionless. The feed glitches.
I'm pretty sure we learned from last week that that's a class 5 weapon. So you can't,
Can't be doing
can't go
that.
using flashbangs like that. But because of that, I was like, wow, that's very illegal. So I was thinking,
How'd they do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I read in Bloody Disgusting that they had a plan of how to do this differently, and it did not work at all.
Oh shit.
What they had was they wanted to have the stuntman on wires and have him fly 30 feet to the location of the dead body.
Okay.
And then cut out the wires and just fix it in post. But filming in a real location like this hospital, the ceiling isn't going to allow you to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to lift a whole person.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. And so they made this apparatus and they had him kind of on the wires, but he was only 3 feet above the ground.
Okay.
And so they have him going and they said it looked like Superman in slow motion and it looked terrible.
Yeah.
They're like, there's no way that we can do this. And they're like, okay, I have another idea. It's so funny to me because they said, okay, we're going to have you run down the hall and I want you to jump twice and then land on your the front of your body on the
Yeah.
ground. Just land face down. I guess that's what they call it.
Yeah. Oh my
Like
God.
the front of your body.
You
What do
land
you
on the
call it?
front of your body.
Land on the front of your
I'm
body.
in. Go.
And so he lands on the front of his body after doing those 2 jumps, and they cut it all together in post. His entire death is CG.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
not any of that. It's a composite, basically.
That's impressive.
Okay,
though.
okay.
He was never moved from that location to that location.
Yeah.
Except for in a computer.
So where'd the wormhole come from?
That's a great question. I think that was Carmelo Johns and his men.
In the closet, Lance sets the camera on himself and fights back tears. He tells us that they've been hiding in here for a couple hours. He says that Houston is gone and they tried to get Matt back on the radio, but they couldn't. A strange loud sound interrupts him, and he says that they keep hearing noises like that, and he really doesn't know how much longer they'll last because they're not alone in here anymore. He turns the camera off.
When I came over here this morning, that scene was playing because you guys were rewatching it.
Yeah.
And JP goes, anymore?
Yeah. You haven't been alone for a while.
Yeah.
There's not like a line where it's like, okay, now things are.
Yeah.
You've never.
They were there. They were just waiting.
Yes.
Yeah.
When the camera comes back up, Sasha is sobbing, asking how her name is on it. First, she gets the scratches on her back, and now this. Why is the jelly all over her shit? Nah. Lance calmly tells us that they all woke up with these on their wrists. He shows his wrist to the camera. There's a patient ID wristband on it, and his name and date of birth are on it.
That's a great touch.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
Sasha turns on TC, telling him that he fell asleep and he made this happen.
I will say she's very mad vocally,
Yeah.
but she smacks his leg like he took her leftovers from the fridge.
Yeah.
I'm like, you should be.
The jackal tore up her back. She's
Oh,
weak.
yeah.
Give her a break, man.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Lance asks what this means, and TC plainly says that it means they're fucked. When TC cradles his head in his hand, Lance zooms in on his wristband,
Yeah.
He also got one.
saying that all of this is just insane. They venture out into the hallway, a low humming sound all around them. When they come to a wide open door, they're disturbed that it's open. Well, you've seen a lot.
Yeah.
The door's
Anymore.
open.
Sasha says that there's something in there. And in the hallway behind them, there's an echo of laughter from multiple voices. They continue forward, and Lance tells us that they've been going in circles and they still can't find Matt. When he brings up Houston, Sasha tells him to just stop. She says that they're not making a TV show anymore. Lance protests that people are going to want to see this footage. But Sasha reiterates that Matt and Houston are gone and they just need to focus on getting out and finding them, and he just keeps doing this. Sasha stands with her back to a door, and when she begins to speak, a fist punches through the small glass window and grabs her. The
Nope.
arm grabs her.
Yeah. Nope.
Aren't we going? Aren't we going through enough? Like, good Lord! And who's this guy? Who
Yeah.
are you? Who are you?
I think that's where I'd be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Just hurry, take me.
Now we'll lay down and cry.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Seriously, dude. I have a bracelet. Show me your bracelet.
Oh yeah, right.
What's
Where's
your fucking
yours?
name?
I'm Lance Preston. Lance pulls her away and they all run down the hall. Sasha falls to the ground trying to catch her breath, and Lance and TC yell at her to get up. Sasha sobs, saying that she can't. Lance gets on the ground with her and reassures her that she can do it and she needs to get up. Just as she begins to nod and agree, TC screams at them from down the hall. They rush over to him, and there, in the next room, sitting against a support beam and wearing a hospital gown with his very own patient ID band, is Matt.
I got to be honest. I laughed out loud because TC goes, "That's him, right?"
Yeah.
He changed clothes. He looks exactly the same
Yeah, I thought y'all were friends.
You
What
worked
the fuck?
together.
Yeah.
for 5 episodes. At the least. You could have been friends before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just assuming you guys were outside playing football.
Yeah.
Y'all are, like you
For
said,
real?
5 episodes.
Yeah.
You're right.
Your buddies.
What was
Yeah.
that dude's name? Matt.
Matt. Dude, I think I found Mike.
Yeah. Hey, is this your friend?
Yeah.
It's like,
Dude,
what?
There's Max. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, what? Just,
That's him, right?
it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. But whatever his name is, Max, he sits traumatized and doesn't react to them when they call out to him. They slowly approach, and when Sasha reaches for him, Matt flinches and recites, "Patient exhibits acute compulsive disorder linked with childhood phobia." They barely have time to react to this when they hear a loud scream behind them. They pull Matt to his feet and lead him to another room. In the room, they ask Matt where he got the gown, but he's unable to answer.
That's the least of your.
Yeah. No.
That looks comfortable as shit. Like,
All
where
we got
did
are
you
these
get
fucking
that?
bands, man.
Yeah.
Be
You know.
happy he's alive.
Yeah, but seriously, where did you?
Right. Where's your clothes?
Sasha points out the wristband, and Matt reacts to her, afraid. Lance finally asks what they did to him and what he saw, but TC, again, is not trying to hear it. He only tells Matt that he must know a way out of here. Why? I don't know why he would assume that. Matt is still here.
Yeah.
He hasn't left. He didn't take a trip out.
Yeah.
Matt laughs and says, "Of course there's a way out. They can all leave as soon as they're better." Lance asks him what that means, and Matt admits that he wasn't ready yet. He says the progress is slow, but the patient is responding to treatment. TC and Lance begin to bicker, and Matt tells them not to be sad because everything is going to be okay. He'll help them too.
Okay, if this is his help,
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
good.
want it. And another thing I want to say is that, okay, we find ourselves in this situation. Friend number 4 will say, we've found again in a gown acting strange. I am asking more questions
Yeah.
Oh,
than
yeah.
where'd you get that gown? I want to know where you've been. Who is helping you?
Well,
Yeah.
Lance finally did when he wouldn't answer about the gown. He finally did ask where he's been.
He's like, look, I know I got to come to terms with the fact that I'm never going to get my hands on a gown that breezy.
It's
But
just not going to happen.
what's been going on?
But Matt lets loose something between a sob and a laugh, and ghost noises start behind the door. Lance tells TC to check it and make sure that nothing gets in as the camera cuts. It comes back up on Lance's face. He tells us that they found Matt, but he's all fucked up. He shows Matt curled up and asleep on the bed. TC lays on the floor and Sasha sits on her own against a wall.
So is this a differentiation between actually the shit that's going down and Lance still trying to do the show?
I think that Lance is trying to document what's happening because he thinks that he's going to make money on it one day.
But we already established that we found Matt again.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe he's like, in case it wasn't in frame, I just want to update you guys.
Yeah, TC's going through it, so he might not have.
Lance sets up the camera and goes to sit next to Sasha, who admits quietly that she doesn't feel good. She thinks there's something wrong with her. Lance feels her forehead and says that she does feel warm and he thinks she might have a fever. He gives her a bottle of water and tells her to get some sleep, but she says that she can't sleep. She doesn't think she'll ever be able to sleep again. The camera cuts out. When it comes back up, everyone is screaming. The camera is swinging wildly, but when it focuses, we see that the ceiling and walls are covered in arms, thrust outward with reaching hands. They run outside as the camera glitches.
Very frightening. It put me in the mind of Radio Silence's segment in
Yeah.
VHS.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to admit that I also would have been screaming very loud because just moments ago, this room seemed pretty armless.
Yeah.
But here we are. You look very proud of
I
yourself. They run into the bathroom with all the tubs, and we see Lance hiding behind one of them, and Sasha, TC, and Matt huddled against a wall. They all stand together to leave the room, but when they turn around, somehow Matt is standing next to the haunted tub, and the tub is full of blood. Matt was right with them.
Yeah. Which again, this is starting to feel like Matt is not who Matt claims to be.
Yeah.
And why are we still trusting Matt? This isn't the Matt I know.
Well, earlier he was talking about himself. Like
Yeah.
he's like the patient.
patient, yeah.
That's
it's like, whoa.
true. It's like, don't you mean you?
Yeah.
Are you the doctor?
He peers down into the tub. Lance tells TC to get Matt away from it, but when TC tries, Matt scoots away from him. Suddenly, Bathtub Demon, played by Michelle Cummins, bursts out of the blood in the tub and grabs TC. We see him pulled beneath just before the camera is dropped. We hear the crew flip the tub over and watch as blood spills on the floor and splatters the lens of the camera. Lance picks the camera back up to show the now empty, overturned tub. TC is gone. Sasha sobs and Matt begins to laugh hysterically. The camera cuts.
So this for me, we had Sasha linger in this room.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be Sasha's death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for it to be TC's was a little strange. You could even have him linger with the camera down into the tub and they're like, TC, come on.
Yeah.
And then it's like we're
Yeah.
setting up something.
Yeah.
But it's very weird to have her linger there and then nothing really happens to her here.
Yeah.
That's fair, but I do like the disappearing,
Oh, yeah.
them turning
no,
the tub
yeah.
over. Like that.
That's great.
Because, come on. Like, that's good.
And I will say that TC's death is 100% Lance's fault.
Oh,
Because
no, yeah.
TC was going to help Matt, and then Lance goes, "What's he doing?" And TC's like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And that's when he gets dragged.
Well,
does.
honestly, it's Matt's fault too, because TC tries to grab him and he's like, "You got to be quicker than that." He like
Yeah,
skips away from him.
So you're on your own.
Yeah. Later, Lance turns the camera back on and wipes the blood from the lens and tries to wipe it from his face. They continue down another hallway where a light fixture swings back and forth on its own. It was funny to me because they don't even react to this.
Well,
It's just like, okay, yeah. Mhm,
Yeah, if that's
that
all
makes
you're
sense.
doing.
Yeah.
We haven't had activity for an hour.
When they look up to the ceiling, they see bloody handprints dragged across. They hear objects moving on their own, and Matt begins to panic. But Sasha calms him down and continues to lead him down the hall. To everyone's surprise, they come to an elevator. Lance sets the camera down and tries to open the doors. He says if they can use the shaft to climb down to the tunnels, then they can try their luck in one of the other buildings. He assures Matt and Sasha that they're going to get out of here before picking up the camera and going back down the hall the way they came.
Look, we all understand how haunted this building is.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something so specifically haunted about that elevator.
Literally.
Like
Yeah.
that's the scariest elevator I've ever seen.
And when was that there? You guys just
Yes.
wandered around
Yeah,
everywhere.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I honestly thought that was going to lead to them meeting like
Dr. Vaniket?
yeah, basically
Yeah.
his substitute, I guess, or stand-in.
After searching, Lance comes across a gurney turned over on its side. I don't know if it's a new gurney or He's able to pull a long piece of metal from it, but before he can go back to the elevators where Sasha and Matt wait for him, something catches his eye. In a puddle of blood on the floor, Lance spots a human tongue. When more blood drops to the floor, Lance looks up. There, perched on the wall in a hospital gown, eyeless, tongueless, and screaming, is Tongueless Demon, played by Alex Timmer.
It's a pretty good scare.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot. I wish, though, that there was some mention of somebody, of that being a technique, or maybe the dude wrote the technique. maybe the dude wrote on the walls because his tongue had been cut out.
Good.
Anything that would have tied this back, because this is just fucking random.
That is
Like,
true.
Well, I thought they said there was a bald apparition, or that
They did
seen-
say that.
they did, but the tongue, I'm more concerned about his tongue than his fucking hair.
Well, that's so
Well,
funny. But
but-
like, you know what was really weird about him?
He's
Yeah.
fucking
He was
bald,
bald,
dude. For forget the fucking tongue on the
Well,
floor.
maybe they didn't see the tongue. Maybe they didn't make it that far.
He just drips his blood everywhere. But the weird thing about it,
Yeah.
thing that
no
really
hair.
stood
What
out to me, yeah. How dare he? No, but I agree.
How dare
I agree. I feel like there should have been, and that's what I was saying at the beginning when he was like, also known as the ghosts of Corning, whatever.
Yeah.
If they would have just said specific
All,
ghosts,
even if he was just
Okay.
like tongueless Tony or something, like
Yeah.
anything.
I
Don't look at me like that.
we'll workshop the name,
Yeah.
but I think it's a great
We're
idea.
spitballing. There's no
Yeah.
bad ideas.
You know how mad we'd be if the ghost name was Tongueless Tony. Yeah.
Yeah, there are no bad ideas, says the person who just said. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, it's not bad. It's not bad because I guarantee that if there were like a local legend or something, Tongueless Tony might actually
I'm
be.
just saying.
Yeah, it'd be some horrible shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Tongueless Tony.
Ladies,
Yeah. Everybody.
everyone,
Everybody.
tongueless Tony.
I've come around on Tongueless Tony. I think it's good.
Thanks. The camera glitches as Lance runs from the room screaming. He goes back to the elevator, ignoring Sasha when she asks him what's wrong. He quickly pries the elevator doors open, and we see from Sasha's cam that there is a ladder that goes all the way down. Lance devises a plan. He's going to reach across, and then Sasha will help Matt over to him. There's a loud bang and screeching down the hall, and Lance tells Matt and Sasha to stay back. He grabs his camera and goes towards the sounds as Sasha screams his name behind him. Suddenly, and I gotta tell you, this was not on my bingo card.
No, dude, at all.
Suddenly, Lance is face to face with the tongueless demon, and they're like physically fighting.
Yeah.
It's a real struggle. I would feel like, I mean, you're a demon. Do you really have to do this? Do you
I
really
was a little
need-
confused.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
And the sad part is Lance was holding his own. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't one-sided. It
I'm not
wasn't.
scared of tongueless Tony anymore. But they're physically struggling with each other before the camera drops. We see Sasha and Matt. Sasha hands her camera to Matt and races toward Lance. She's like, "Oh, what possessed?" We switch to that camera that Matt is holding, and we see Sasha helping Lance keep the door at the end of the hall closed as the demon tries to bust its way in. Matt turns the camera on his own face and begins to laugh.
The angle, of course, I was like, what these buttons do?
I was thinking the exact same thing.
I mean, you have to.
He looks down at the ladder and all the way down the elevator shaft. We see from the dropped camera in the hallway as Matt lets himself fall forward. Through Matt's cam, we see the fall and the landing at the bottom, and it glitches before cutting out.
So I feel like that kind of bothered me a little bit with how important we've made Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to be like, well, that's just the end of Matt. That's it.
It's like,
Keep
whoops.
going. Yeah.
They just goes. It's
Just
like,
so
okay.
weird.
Yeah.
Sasha and Lance say that the demon disappeared before walking back into frame. They both sob when they come to the realization that Matt jumped. They focus the camera on his broken body at the bottom of the elevator shaft before climbing down. When Lance reaches the bottom, he checks Matt's pulse, but it's no use. He helps Sasha down the rest of the way on the ladder and comforts her as she sobs. Lance pries open another door and announces that they've made it into the tunnels. They regroup. Lance reminds her that these tunnels connect all the buildings. I'm like, we know. Yeah, Lance,
Yeah.
we know. He tells her that he can't do this alone, so they start down the tunnels together. Lance slowly starts to lose steam, and when he realizes that they should have hit the junction a long time ago, he's angry.
I gotta say, man, after everything you've experienced,
Mm-hmm.
how in the hell did you think that they would play fair in the tunnels?
Literally.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do it, dude.
He's like, what do you
No.
mean it's endless
Fuck.
down here, too?
You changed this
in
too?
the same exact building that we've been in all night. What do you mean?
The bowels of the building that we've been in.
I know the movies doesn't have very much left, but right at about the elevator scene, I was like, man, I'm really fucking enjoying this. I was like,
Yeah.
this is really good.
sure.
I really feel like they do such a good job setting it up, and you hit a certain point and it's just a roller coaster to the end.
Yeah.
Later, Sasha is on her hands and knees, gasping for air. Lance tries to check on her, but suddenly Sasha vomits blood out onto the floor. She sobs as Lance tries to comfort her.
I will say this is it is pretty abrupt.
Mm-hmm.
They only mentioned it once that she was
That she didn't feel good.
yeah. And it really just seemed more like a way to humanize Lance because he's been kind of a dick.
Yeah.
I feel like it's from her being scratched by them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Like, that's how I took it.
Yeah. You know, a lot of those old hospitals that were like horrible regarding mental health, they also had like tuberculosis
Oh.
Hell yeah. I mean,
wards.
Yeah.
they
So-
weren't exactly careful
No.
with the people that needed it the most. You know what I mean?
Very fair point.
Later, Lance turns the camera on himself. Sasha's head rests on his shoulder as she sleeps. Lance tries to report what day it is, but realizes he doesn't even know what day it is anymore. He says that they spent the whole day walking in one direction, but they didn't get anywhere, and now his feet are killing him. He says that Sasha isn't going to make it, and she can't keep up. It's like, dude, she's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it weird. He was like, it was like a confessional. He's like, I'm gonna cut her loose.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this bitch, she's as good as dead. Lance!
He is a dick.
Yeah.
Something growls down the tunnel, but when Lance asks who's there, there's no reply.
What did he expect?
It's Dr. Vanagon.
Yeah,
Dr. Friedkin. I mean,
there you go. Yeah, we've referred to him that way once, I think, but we know what he's doing.
through the static cam, we see Lance holding Sasha as the tunnel slowly fills with smoke. It's so thick that we can't see either of them anymore. And when it dissipates, Lance sits alone. Sasha is gone. This was so effective to me.
Yes,
I was like, I was just very surprised.
Oh yeah.
I like that a lot, but part of me was like, why make her sick at all then?
Yeah.
Why put her through that if you're just gonna James Wan disappear her?
I feel like everybody's James Wan. I feel like everybody kind of has this thing where something's like they're on a certain arc and then it's like, nope.
Yeah.
You thought?
He calls out to Sasha, but he is alone, even with his flashlight to help him see. He screams her name, but only gets the echo of his own voice as a reply. He takes off running down the tunnel, and his flashlight flickers before going out completely. Later, with the camera set on the ground facing him, Lance asks, "What do you want from me?" into the radio. In response, he gets his own voice asking, "What do you want from me?" with wild laughter and screaming after it.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Because again, it's a callback to the nothing before.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Lance sobs and drops the radio before the camera cuts out. When it comes back, there's blood on his face, and he admits to us that he's running low on battery. He says he doesn't even need the light anymore, though. If he just keeps walking straight, he can walk in the dark for hours. It's kind of like a game. He laughs and asks, "How long can you go?" He looks into the camera and asks if anyone is watching before telling his audience, "Fuck you." I'm like, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this, fucking Scream 5? Don't do me like that.
We had enough of that this month.
He repeats it louder and louder until he's screaming it, and then he reminds us, "This was for you."
I love that you call him buddy because you're trying to remind him we are friends.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
We're cool.
Yeah, we were here for you this whole time, Lance. And then you go and pull this shit on us.
When the camera comes back up, there's a rat scurrying across the floor of the tunnel. Lance hits it with the piece of metal from the gurney, killing it and eating it greedily. I do want to be clear that there is literally even a thing in the comments that was like, no rats were killed in the making of this or
Yeah.
whatever. I needed convincing.
Yeah.
It looks too real. It looks too good. I thought.
There is a split second.
Yeah, I was
Man,
gonna say that
it's-
you can see it
Yeah.
if you
I was
you
upset.
look,
Yeah.
you'll see the squished rat
It's-
already.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, man. He didn't need to film this.
Yeah, why?
He set up. This isn't the static cam filming this. He's like,
No,
let me
this
get a
is
good
him.
shot.
I'm gonna get that
Let me
rat.
get that rat in the rule of thirds. All right, let's get to eating. That
when
poor
he,
rat.
So when he gets hungry, he can watch it later and be like, "Oh man,
That
I'm
was
full again."
so good.
That one time, he's like, "No, we're doing a food show." Yeah.
He picks up the camera and smiles as we hear yelling down the tunnel. Lance brings a finger to his lips and a cheeky little shush before gnawing on the rat again and bursting out laughing. The camera glitches and comes back up with Lance pointing it down the hall and screaming at them to come and get him. He's gone full Shane Madej. I don't advise it because you know that there is something that will come and get you.
That is true. He's like, tear up my heart.
Later, he turns the camera back on and says that he doesn't know how long he was sleeping, but he just woke up and there's a door. He turns the camera toward the door and it's there in the wall of the tunnel. He pushes it open and steps into the darkness before we see in night vision. On a blackboard in the room, someone has crudely drawn a brain with parts of it mapped out in a list of emotions like anxiety and fear written on the side. Tacked up are photos of patients, some with large chest sutures, some with their ribs, the muscles in their cheeks or hands completely exposed. One is of a man with a hole in his head, completely exposing his brain.
Can I say, missed opportunity? This should have been pictures of the crew. His crew. Lance's crew.
That would have been very
okay.
fucking cool. That would have been really cool.
I was like, who are these people?
I was adopted.
Is that Lance?
Yeah.
That's too far. Yeah, that's too much.
Sorry. But Lance begins to sob as he goes further into the room where there are beds and wheelchairs and devices with restraints. Further still, there's an operating room. Behind that is a room with wooden crates and books. In the center of the floor is a ritualistic drawing and markings beset on 4 sides with candles and a skull in the middle of it.
There's your answer, Fishbulb.
Yeah,
Like-
that's it.
That's it.
That's the problem.
This is what's going on.
There's the problem right there.
Yeah. Someone set this thing to evil.
Yeah, you got a leaky portal here.
Yeah. You ever get that checked out?
Yeah, the evil's just seeping through.
Yeah.
Like, you might want
I-
to
The
cover
whole
that.
building,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
It's the
I
whole
can-
building.
Parts and labor, I think maybe
Yeah.
about $666.
There's an altar with a book on it, but when Lance opens the book, it's in runes, unrecognizable.
And there's never been a good book that's held together by a twig. I've never seen that in a movie. You show that to me.
It's not my business. It's
Yes.
not my
Yeah.
business.
We don't need to open that.
Lance looks back toward the operating room, and there's a full operation in progress, complete with the doctor, nurses, and a patient. He gasps and remarks that it's impossible as they slowly turn to look at him. In his shock, he's knocked over the ritualistic setup. He looks down at it, and when he looks back up, Dr. Friedkin is right in front of him.
So whenever Melissa Marr moves the camera
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
and the doctors look at her, they drag her to the ceiling.
Yeah.
No, this is so clearly homage, right?
Yeah. It
It's good.
literally has to be.
Like there's no way that they're like, we can get away with that.
Yeah.
It's totally intentional. It has to be.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I know.
God.
Because it's still
Certainly.
good.
Yes, it is.
But yeah.
I'm giving them the benefit of the
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah. But Dr. Friedkin screams and his face morphs into something demonic. Lance drops the camera. We hear his screaming and asserting that he is not crazy before the camera cuts out. When the camera comes back up, Lance is dazed, almost as if his brain was operated on. He tells us that the doctor said he's all better now and that he can go home. He says, "For Grave Encounters, I'm Lance Preston, signing off." The feed cuts out and we get the title card and the credits. So, what did you guys think of Grave Encounters?
In this moment, I just imagine all the producers turning around and being like, Jerry, what the fuck? You want to release that?
Right, you had us pull men off to work on this.
Oh my God. Jerry.
I forgot that that's the lens in which you're watching this. He's like, you want to see some freaky shit?
Take about 90 minutes.
No, but I really enjoyed this movie. I really I remember it being funnier than what it was. But I think you're right, it might have just been that first like 30 minutes of it, 45 minutes of it. But it is good. I felt like doing it the way that they did it and making it just seem like that. Look, we edited it, all that. We just got the film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Okay,
they said all of it.
yeah, but it explains though.
It does.
Cool. We don't have to wonder who put this together. Did the ghosts edit this? Did they whatever? You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it does, and it's like you said, it's just a ride. Once it starts going, it's fantastic. And I would even recommend this movie to people. I don't
Hell
know
yeah.
how people are saying that this.
I know.
I mean, I get it. Everybody's got their own opinion.
For
and
sure.
likes and
I know, but
dislikes.
so many people.
But yeah, that's just so strange that many people don't like this movie.
I always, I mean, I put this movie in my mind as one that you throw on as almost like a little crowd pleaser. People would enjoy to watch this on a Friday night.
Yeah.
It's just fun to be had.
Yeah.
It's not anything that you need to really dig into. There are moments that are worth complaining about.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just a fun ride. It is a very interesting conceit that hadn't really been done before as far as the ghost hunting thing.
Yeah.
And it really bums me out that it really didn't achieve the franchise potential that I think it could have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think it's a very, very good film, and I always have fun watching it.
Yeah. I do too. And it's funny because Ari, for a while now, has been like, when are y'all going to do that? When are y'all going to do that?
Yeah.
This movie scared the shit out of her. We had a question on Talk Mortem last year where we were asked what the kids, in their opinion, what's the scariest movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Ari was like, Graven Cat. She didn't even think about it. After we had seen it, she was like, what was that movie where, remember? I was like, no. When he ate the rat, I was like, Graven Cat.
Yeah.
She was like obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I think it's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it goes to some dark places. We likened it to a roller coaster multiple times because you have your uptick at the beginning, and then when it drops, it's going for the rest of the movie. But yeah, it's definitely not perfect. There's some kind of cheesy CGI, but when you think about how cheaply this was made, and I think it was made quickly.
Yes, I meant to mention that it was shot, I read in, I think it was Screen Anarchy, 12 days.
Really?
That is wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's wild.
All right.
I mean,
All right, Vicious Brothers.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me sad that they had to deal with so many people hating this. I don't know how to phrase it. Like,
It's surprising.
I know.
No, yeah.
And I mean, this was kind of the resurgence of the found footage thing
Right.
Okay.
after Paranormal Activity. But even in that saturated market, I think this still stands out.
I know that
Yeah.
it does to me. I feel like it is. A lot of these movies follow the same formula.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of different to feel unique in that. And so that's why I think that you saying Hell House LLC, that is such a perfect parallel.
Yeah.
Because they both do to me, even the premise. Oh, that is a perfect reason to have those cameras.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a perfect reason. Like, I mean, I really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we can just go into ratings.
Yeah.
Sure.
I kind of just did my whole spiel, but I feel like, and I do want to shout it out once again for not having a score
Yes.
and not having music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just a fucking good time. Is this a cinematic masterpiece? No, this is not the greatest movie you've ever seen, but I think it will be one of the best found footage ones that you have.
Yeah.
It's up there for me.
It's
Yeah.
I think that it's really fucking good. It's a lot of fun. You get your comedy at the beginning. The character work is really good, even though that we see some arcs start and they're not fully realized.
No.
I don't know how I feel about the ending, to be 100% honest. I think that it works.
Yeah.
What I would have done instead, I don't really know. I don't know, but I don't think that this is the best that it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, with all things considered, I think, like you said, it's a crowd pleaser. It's just fun. That's why when we went over there, we all watched it together.
Yeah.
It's just a good time.
And we had a blast.
Yeah. So I will say, on a scale from 1 to 10, disembodied demonic tongues.
Wow.
And I'm going to give it a little extra love because it did get so much hate.
All right.
I'm giving Grave Encounters 8 out of 10 disembodied demonic tongues.
All right.
I think that this is a treat. I think that this movie is a lot of fun. And if you haven't seen it because so many people hated it, check it out for yourself. And you might hate it too, but check it out and see what you think.
Yeah.
But I will now open up the floor.
No, yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say that this is like a perfect, whatever, but I will go on to say this.
Huh.
If there is a opportunity, or there's like, hey, a bunch of us are gonna hang out, couples or just friends or whatever, we're gonna watch some movies or whatever, you want to throw anything in there, you guys mind horror? No, I want to watch Grave Encounters with y'all.
Hell yeah.
We're
Yes.
turning off the lights, you're putting on the surround sound or whatever. everybody, keep the commentary to a minimum. Let's watch this.
No, shut
Shut the
up.
fuck up.
Well, because you know what I mean? If you're talking and you're whatever,
No,
you're
you're
going
gonna
to
miss
miss
it. Yeah.
something.
For sure.
And I feel like this is one of those movies, like you said, it's subtle little things at the beginning that happen later on. And if you miss those things, I don't feel like it's a big thing, but it does enhance the movie.
For sure.
And I am not going to lie. I don't know if there's too many movies that I would be immediately like, no, Grave Encounters, period.
Yeah.
Period. Well, what do you think? Grave Encounters. Well, a group, Grave Encounters. Something
Yeah.
really scary to show somebody. Grave Encounters.
Yeah.
Like, this movie checks off a lot of boxes for me that I didn't realize until this latest watch for the show.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, this was a wild ride, and I did enjoy it. TC, he's got a bad mouth on him. He needs
Yes.
to watch what the fuck he says.
He does.
But I mean, they all got.
They did, but I did appreciate his role as the person who's saying no, we need to get the fuck out of here. No,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care about that. Let's get the fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if everybody was just like, oh, the footage, or let's go, like, you
Yeah.
need somebody
No,
to be
yeah.
like, no.
But it's like that meme, the worst person you know is right or whatever.
yeah, it's like, God damn it.
But all that to say, on a scale from 1 to 10, disembodied demonic tongues.
Nailed it.
All right, I'm also gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10.
Wow.
I really liked this movie, and hearing how fast they did it and like what they did with it, that does kind of surprise me that it doesn't have a bigger following or liking. Like I again, I understand we all have our opinions and everybody likes different stuff, but I really don't see this movie being that bad to where people are like, "Oh, that fucking sucks." It's like, really?
Yeah.
I don't like. Me personally, I don't see it. But to each his own. And if you've
Of
not
course.
seen this movie, please go watch it.
No, I agree. I feel like this movie it seems that it's getting kind of a resurgence in popularity.
Mm-hmm.
There are the circles of people who love the hell out of this movie.
Yeah.
But then there are those people that really hate it. I mean, I don't see how you could hate it, but I respect your right to hate it.
No,
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
But I just feel like this movie is not. I don't think this is a movie to get mad at, really.
I
You
read
know?
a review,
Yeah.
not to cut you off, but I read a review where somebody said that they were done at the point where a medium was yelling at a ghost that we have a permit here and you don't. I said that's not even what was
happened.
happening.
Yeah, no.
You look down at your phone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's-
not even what was happening.
And then
That's
you
why
came
you're
back up.
mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. A ghost has a permit? I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, this is why
I'm
John Paul
done.
told everyone to be quiet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He said keep commentary to a minimum.
Please.
And you're
I was
asking,
like, but don't be mad at it because that's not what it was.
no.
Yeah.
And that is one sad thing that I have noticed is that a lot of times distractions will ruin films for you.
For sure.
And that's not fair to the film.
No.
Yeah.
That's why they tell you to turn your phone off at the movies, and I'll admit I'm a little guilty of that. Too. I think that's why I'm coming down so
rewind
hard.
it. Rewind it.
Yeah,
Be like, was he talking to a fucking ghost? Rewind it and be
Oh,
like,
no.
oh no, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, and also he's not a fucking medium.
No.
But okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a fraud.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Very early on, we established that.
His first scene.
Yeah.
But no, I love the conceit of this film. I love that it doesn't break a lot of my found footage rules.
Yeah.
It really sticks to a lot of them, and especially for me, one of the biggest ones is how did this footage get to me? You know, and they tell you at the start of the
Yeah.
film, and that's great. I feel like the thing is, and it's very unfair to every found footage film I ever watch. It's always going to be compared to the Blair Witch Project for me, and that's not fair.
It's not
Yeah.
fair. You can't be doing that.
That film and its marketing, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And-
It's untouchable.
It's amazing. But I think that this film kind of falters a little bit for me on the negative side with I know this was very cheap. I hate the CG in this film. I have to say it. I think the
Yeah.
first face was good.
The first face was
Yeah.
and Houston's whole thing, that was good. If that was all CG,
good. Okay, that's good. I won't say I don't like a lot of the CG. The doctor's face was not good.
it did look like a
No.
Snapchat filter. It did.
Yeah.
I'll
And-
give you
and
that.
even-
or the
even-
TikTok filter with the
Oh, yeah,
smile
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
Even the first ghost lady, I was like, I'm still on board, but you're
You're pushing.
you're pushing me.
Better be going somewhere with this Vicious Brothers.
I also don't like some of the character moments. I really think that the dialogue it can be at times and I say this meaningfully, genuinely annoying to me.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of those things, I really think that it's just a fun time. There's a lot of really good humor at the start of this.
Mm-hmm.
The performances are, for the most part, believable
Oh, yeah.
and compelling enough to where you're paying attention and you're not taken out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the scares are good. Like, I mean, it's literally just a film to have fun with.
Yeah.
It's not one to hate. It's
Yeah.
just so it's
Damn,
surprising to me. But seeing a lot of those 1-star reviews, like I was staggered.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But no, I definitely would recommend this film. Would not recommend the sequel, but this one I think is definitely worth watching.
Okay.
And watch the sequel if you want. I'm not telling you not to watch stuff. I hate when people do that.
Yeah, that's
when they're
not
like,
cool.
"Oh, don't watch it." No,
No,
watch it.
yeah,
Watch it.
yeah.
And then you tell me what you
and
think.
then agree with me. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, agree that you hate it. No. But no, for me, out of 10 disembodied demonic tongues, I am going to give Grave Encounters a 7.5 out of 10. I did want to join you at the 8, but some of those character moments, I was like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And kind of those missed opportunities where they could have just pushed it up to make it a little bit cooler and scarier.
Right.
Those pictures with the autopsy photos.
Yeah.
Why isn't it the crew?
Or maybe like they could have been related to the patients
Nay.
that broke.
Oh,
We've done that.
Well, that's all from us at Podmortem. What would you rate Grave Encounters and what should we watch next? Let us know on Twitter at the Podmortem. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook. Be sure to follow each of us on Twitter at Blood and Smoke, at RealStreeter84, and at TravisMWH. Please consider pledging to our Patreon and stay tuned until after the music for a special shout out to our Wendigo Getter patrons. And remember, just because you don't believe in something doesn't make it any less real. Allowing your skepticism to become complacency can prove to be a grave mistake. Until next time. Thank you for staying tuned for our special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons.
Yeah.
We'll get it next time.
Yeah.
We'll get it next time.
We need to rehearse between.
We can just do the Ric Flair moves every time.
There we
you
go.
go.
New system.
A special thank you to
Chris Ontiveros, Kristen Lofton, Megan Martinez, Kimberly Bass, Sophie Hodson, Anthony Jerome M., Jordan Nash, Kent Morton, Lala Thomas, Travis and Nisa Hunter, Miguel Myers ATX, Jennifer Perez, Allison O'Neill, Carissa, TJ and Angie Bronson, Gabrielle Trevino, Spooky Mom, Andy Teague, Applin Ontiveros, Karima Rhodes, Antonio Huerta, Kimberly Kleindienst, Will Brown, Sydney Smith, Osvaldo Soto, Jonathan, Bobby Holmes, Donna Eason, JD Rizak, Molly Gerhart, Armand Spasto, Aaron Aguirre, Eggy, Brittany Ramatar, Charity Oxner, Amanda Six, Mandy Rainwater, Eden, Jordan Roberts, Dylan,
Melissa Sierra, Holly Bryan, Jordan Blevins, Liz Heath, Spencer Montalvo, Pancake the Panda, John Ramos, Michael Newting, Alexis Roberts, Dan Laveau, Itzy M., Gary Horton, Leisha Olivier, Kate Lamp, Carlos and Sydney, Jessica Hunter, Helena Rudder, Alan Johnston, Mariah, Livy Fun, Mandy M., Scott Troutman Wise, Towton Watson, Mozzie Bear, Brittany G., Dave Burke, Adrian Stakes, Nick Spill, Emma Hagel Kissinger, Valerie G., Emiliana, Brian Glass, CB, Maya Noches, Taylor Santana, Will Lewison, Angelique, Smelly Poo Poo Head, Beth Bauer,
Ben Coons, Cookie, Esperanza J, Jason Kyle OKC, Joshua Rumley, Danielle Peralta, Hannah R, Brandon, Nicholas Carter, Sawyer Reese Farr, Dr. Diva Loves Horror, Girl That's Scary, M. Fryback, Cassandra, Andrea Simmons, Ashley Higuera, William Rush, Ryan Brom, Megan Ochoa, Laura Lassiter, Natalie de Guzman, Eileen O, Marissa E, Sydney, Henry F, Megan M, Paul Jordan, Christy Beck, Nancy and Andy, Amanda Lopez, Cody Graves, Andy Terrell, Wizard Boner, ML Tafoya, Abigail Spitzer, Katie K, Erica Morin, Cameron S, Nicole Stewart, Tris Wen, K.87, Mariah Jensen, and Carrie Archambault.
Wow.
Ooh, what a
Ooh,
list.
the gang's all
Thank you.
here.
Amazing. Thank you all so much.
I gotta say too, thank you all for hanging out with Labata, me, and these guys. Really? I don't know. I'm sorry if that was offensive. I really don't. Until next time.